stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
From Phoenix Raceway, the Stacy Strong SNN Cup Series has finally arrived at Championship Week here on Sim Racing Media. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avondale, Arizona, where after exactly 9 months to the day from when they clashed at the Coliseum, these drivers are ready to crown the 2023 SNN Cup Series champion. The 2023 Stacy Strong SNN Cup Series has seen many ups and downs this year. Their fourth year paired with Sim Racing Media. While drivers came and went, sponsors changed, and even a major change here in what we now know as the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. Tonight, though, we're focused on the Championship 4. Alex Murray, Jeremy Miller, Sean Rogers, and Jacob Schneider. These drivers have combined for 18 wins, 50 top 5s, and a staggering 71 top 10s this season. Now it's winner take all when the checkered flag flies after dueling for 312 laps in the desert. I'm Dave Riegel alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Liam Ervig, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Liam, Glad to be with you for the second week in a row as we went from not ever working together to now we've got we will have two in the books as we're taking a look right now at our points leader, Alex Murray.
Yeah, absolutely. What an honor it is to be up in the booth, both A, here with you once again, Dave, but B, in the Sunday Night NASCAR Series booth, the Stacy Strong Cup Series. This is actually one of the first leagues I ever got to call. This is where I learned so much about what we do and so much about what these guys do out on the racetrack. I learned a lot about this league when I started, so it is an incredible honor to be able to call their championship race. And like you said, Alex Murray, Jacob Schneider, Jeremy Miller, and Sean Rogers, these guys all racing for a title here. Qualifying just getting ready to finish up, and we'll go ahead and let you know what the grid looks like in just a few moments. But, man,
Absolutely.
Dave, this is an incredible show, and what an honor.
Absolutely. Right now, we want to see if we can dial up Mr. Alex Murray, one of our final four here tonight. Hey, Alex, it's Dave and Liam up in the booth. You got us?
I got you.
Listen, it's been a long season. We were just talking about, this is 9 months to the day since our clash at the Coliseum. How are you feeling coming into tonight, knowing that the championship is on the line?
Obviously it's it'll give you a little bit of anxiety, but I know that we have the car capable to do it. I know that Jacob and Jeremy do as well, and it's going to be a battle between the three of us, and then obviously you got Sean Rogers, who's been pretty good here the past couple weeks. So it's definitely going to be a good race. I think it'll be a good fight between us four, and you never know, you'll get a surprise winner here maybe, potentially. So just going to keep a cool, calm head and try to get it done. We'll see what happens.
All right, man. Well, listen, go ahead and make Concord, North Carolina proud. We will chat with you later. I'm sure we'll get a chance at some point tonight, and good luck out there tonight.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, sirs. We're going to run him back up in there to the pre-chat. Of course, next up, we want to have a quick moment here with Sean Rogers, one of our other Final Four. We want to make sure we get to all of these gentlemen tonight. Hey, Sean, you got Liam and Dave up here in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I do. What's going on, guys?
Well, you've got yourself a tough task in front of you. It looks like you're sitting in 5th place right now here, getting ready for the start. But all three of your championship rivals are in front of you. What's it going to take to get up to them and get around them?
Well, I know they're gonna have good cars. But just gotta keep telling myself it's a long race. We got 312 laps, so don't, tell myself not to push it too much early and get myself in trouble and be there at the end.
We've seen this track be difficult to pass at. What do you think in terms of pit strategy? Do you think it's going to be more of a track position game, or do you think this will be one that you want to take those fresh tires?
This is definitely gonna be a track position race, and all the A Opens and the NISs I've run throughout the week getting ready for this. It has been very difficult to pass, so definitely gonna have to make sure you hit your spots if we get some green flag stops, and just be playing the track position game all night.
Well, awesome stuff, Sean. We wish you the best of luck moving forward. You start up in the top 5 so far. See if anybody comes up in here to change that, but we'll hopefully talk to you again towards the end of the night.
Yep. Have a good show, guys.
That, of course, the voice of of the number 44, Sean Rogers. He's racing from the Joe Gibbs Racing stable tonight. Next up on the docket, going to be Mr. Jeremy Miller. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave and Liam up in the broadcast booth. You got us? Well, you roll off on the inside of row 2 tonight, and Burlington, New Jersey, of course, always going to be cheering you on. How are you feeling as you get those gloves strapped up?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long, hard race tonight. It's not the easiest track to work around cover cars, so going to have to hope we can find a way to make up those spots some way. I don't think we're quite as fast as our teammates tonight, but that doesn't mean we can't win it, so we're just going to keep our heads down and push forward.
Yeah, man, this is one of those tracks where you don't have to have the fastest car, but you just have to have the smartest driver. So that's going to be on your shoulders this evening. And, as we head into the twilight, what are you looking forward to as far as coming back next year and getting, the 2024 season underway?
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure of the plans going into the next season right now. Might be back, might not be. It really just depends on how stuff goes on outside of the sim racing world. But if we are back, I think we'll be as competitive as ever and try to win some more races next year.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on making it here to the Championship 4, and perhaps we will chat with you later tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And, of course, we're going to get him moved back up into field filler. And, Liam, I believe that you have Jacob Schneider.
Yes, sir, we do. Car number 02 in that Ford Mustang. You're looking to be starting up in second place for the final of the final 4 drivers that we've talked to, but real good starting spot. What do you think it's going to take to get out in front of Alex Murray here at the beginning?
I'm not sure. We'll see when the green flag flies. I think we got a little bit different setups this week. Usually we're on the same, but we went 2 different routes this week, so we'll see if one of us has an advantage early and maybe the other has an advantage on the long run. And we'll just see. I think it'll be an interesting race.
Well, do you think you're going to have something more on the long run? We kind of expect this to go a little bit longer, kind of given how some of the A-fixed races that we've heard about and the Cup race as well. Do you think you've got a long run car?
I would guess that I have a better long run car. Just typically that's how the two of us are. But who knows?
Well, awesome stuff, Jacob. You've got yourself a chance to race for a championship here. We'll let you get back to it. Appreciate you joining us here as the warm-up's actually getting ready to start up.
Well, we'll get him moved back on up into field filler racing. Of course, that was our Championship 4 right now. Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Chris Club making his pre-race announcements. We'll check in with him in a minute, but the first thing we need to do is take a look at our race information. 74 degrees if you're sitting in the stands right now in Phoenix, which is pretty comfortable considering it can get up to as high as 115 during the summer. Track temperature, though, 87 degrees, so slightly cooler than it was for today's actual Cup race during our warm-up here. Now, Liam, take us through this. What kind of grip are you expecting with 87 degrees? I mean, today they were slip-sliding around the racetrack.
These next-gen cars have 3-inch wider tires than their previous generation counterpart, the Gen 6 car. This is going to give you a little bit more grip, got a little bit more horsepower than you're used to with that 550 package we used to run. This is going to be tough on these guys. Expect to see a lot more slipping and sliding than you did, maybe even in the Cup race, because 87 degrees doesn't seem like a lot. Track's going to be hot up under the sun. It's going to be baking. That's going to get these tires greasy. Not going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun behind the wheel.
Absolutely. And before I forget, we do need to check in with the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, Chris Claude. Hey, Chris, it's Dave and Liam up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I do, Dave.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations on another successful season here in the Cup Series and, of course, across all of your 3 series on the iRacing.com platform. What are you looking forward to as far as 2024 brings us?
2024, we already have one rule change. We're going to move the incidents from 17 incidents to 25 to allow people to at least feel like they're able to race a little bit more and not be as concerned about every little contact that they have with other drivers. Hopefully that will lessen some of the tensions between drivers, and we're still going to have the faults that we've had in place, and hopefully that will take care of most of the reckless driving and keep things as clean as we can have them.
Reckless driving in sim racing, what's that?
Well, yeah, we try to emphasize the safety in this league, and it has helped, and the statistics pretty much play it out as I've looked through the races as from different seasons and even as we've gone along this season, and I'm really encouraged by what I've seen. I think that we're able to, for the most part, keep the cautions below what they have in the actual races, and while still being competitive on the track, and that's going to continue to be the goal. And we're going to be doing more recruiting for next season, and trying to get guys that are turning up for the races every week, and making it exciting for the broadcast.
All right, man. Well, listen, we want to thank you again for being a partner with Sim Racing Media. Of course, without you and all of your effort, we wouldn't be here tonight. I certainly can tell you that I wouldn't be here tonight without you. So I just want to, extend that appreciation to you, and good luck tonight there in the old number 10.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
I I just want to kind of reiterate what he's saying there. I mentioned it a little bit during the warm-up. This is where I learned to do broadcasting with Sim Racing Media, so it is an incredible honor to be able to call your guys' championship race, and can't wait to see what you guys do next year. If I'm not up here, I want to be down there on the racetrack.
Hey, you're welcome to come join us if you like to be down here, or you can do both. You know, like Dave did for a long time. And Dave, he knows that he's always welcome to come down if there's somebody else that is covering in the booth and join us for racing any of the series.
You're tempting me.
Hey, Dave, I can do the ones and twos.
I mean, I get it. Well, listen, Chris, just thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we appreciate everything you do.
Sure thing.
Well, Liam, we're getting ready to settle in. Of course, 312, the scheduled distance tonight as far as laps go. Stage break's going to be at laps 60 and 185. 9 sets of tires altogether. So we're probably looking at about a 45 to 65 lap window for tires, no?
Well, it's going to depend on how these cautions fall. We talked to our championship floor. We asked about the track position type of game, and Sean Rogers said it was going to be leaning more towards track position than fresh tires. Going to be super tough to pass here. So if these cautions fall your way, you're probably going to want to try to get tires as much as you can. You lose spots on pit lane, you're going to be smacking yourself for just losing those spots.
Some of us smack ourselves so as it is as we turn around and check the TV one more time for that football score. But I want to take a quick look at our whole field as Alex Murray, of course, brought home the pole position for tonight. Of course, some really big names that are pretty well buried in the standings tonight as far as qualifying has gone. Ryan Samuelson back in 6th, Brian Tarnowski and Chris Claw back in 11th and 12th, and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, running in 16th. And we'll get through all of these names right here, right now, as we zoom in here. As soon as I find that camera, thing's a little bit backwards tonight, because why not? It's championship week. We still have bugs in the system. As we look at our pole sitter, Alex Murray from Concord, North Carolina, he's going to be joined on the front row by Mr. Jacob Schneider out of Greenville, South Carolina. So a couple of Carolina boys to lead us to green tonight. Brandon Edstrom and Jeremy Miller are going to sit on row number 2, while row number 3 going to feature Brandon Edstrom from Springfield, Vermont, alongside of Nolan Hodgson, making his return back here to the Cup Series. Ryan Samuelson and Tanner Marty going to be in row number 4, and rounding out the starting top 10, Chris Colley, and of course, Chris Claude out of Fairview, Tennessee, Liam.
Yeah, behind Chris Cloud, we've got Mark Johnston, then Rafael Rodriguez, Brian Tarnowski, Steve Herring, Ron Fitting, Ken Ron, John Wilco, and Randall Watkins. Going to round out the field. A couple of late joiners here at the end. Gets us up to 18 cars in the field, but I tell you what, that pace car's already made that hard left turn.
It certainly has, so we're going to get ready for our traditional call to green as it is.
Pace car starting to pick up a little bit of pace as they come out of turn number 4. Pace car's getting ready to peel it on off. It's going to make that hard left turn down pit road as we get ready to turn them loose. The only thing is left to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Race fans, it's showtime!
Already one car down into the wall. That was Jeremy Miller as he's got to come down pit road as we were a little delayed there. We were expecting a second lap of parade beforehand, but Alex Murray out to a commanding lead so far. Already 1.2 seconds ahead of Jacob Schneider. Jeremy Miller just dashing his hopes at the 2023 crown.
Yeah, tough break there for the number 30 to start the race that way, but we've still got 3 drivers up in the title fight here as Sean Rogers goes down to the inside of number 74, Brandon Edstrom. Edstrom strong up on the top side early on, jumps down across that transition. I tell you what, that is going to be tough on these suspensions going over that transition. These guys had to work that into the suspension in order to be able to handle it, because I've seen plenty of races where crossing that thing over spells disaster.
Absolutely, still keeping an eye on Sean Rogers, who's still battling it out here with Brandon Edstrom as they come out of turn number 4 and crossing the start-finish line. Of course, this racetrack, kind of a unique shape. Of course, we were talking pre-race, you and I were, about the reconfiguration several years ago here at Phoenix, then known as ISM. And, basically the front stretch is now the back stretch and vice versa. And, sometimes it can throw a driver off, especially if you haven't been here in a while or if this is your first race back, and that dog leg can really upset your suspension even with these independent deals.
It really can. It can be tough on these suspensions. It can be tough just on the drivers. If you don't react the right way going up over it, it can really upset your race car. Right now we're watching Nolan Hodgson try to take that 4th spot away from Sean Rogers. Rogers, he's got himself a car length in between him and the 12 machine. Get himself to see just how much separation or change rather there is between that transition. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact there.
No, here he goes.
Sends the 74 up the racetrack. Brandon Edstrom keeps her together, but Sean Rogers says, I'm not wasting any time. I want to get up behind these top 3, or top 2 rather, and race them for a championship. Brandon Edstrom able to hold on for 3rd place for now, but now Nolan Hodgson looks down the inside. And watch this right here. Completely flat, back up to about 20 degrees of banking in an instant. That doesn't feel good for the car, but that does not feel good for the driver inside either.
No, I'll tell you what, he almost took himself a little Ryan Blaney twist today as just a little bump and run there. Definitely wasn't intentional, as he apologized right away on race radio. So, whether it's championship week or not, still sportsmanship always the feature here in the SNN Cup Series. Of course, 3 out of our championship 4 drivers lead this piece. Alex Murray, Jacob Schneider, and Sean Rogers, 1, 2, 3. Nolan Hodgson running in 4th, and Brandon Edstrom rounding out your top 5. So Edstrom not really bothered that much by the bump from Rogers, but he's definitely on his recovery drive now.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's going to be tough for him to make up any spots here as he is back out. Sorry there. I think I was looking at the wrong guy.
You got the wrong guy. There's been a mistake.
There has been a mistake, but now we're looking at Brian Tarnowski, who sits just outside of the top 10, trying to chase down Rafael Rodriguez. He's got himself a nice gap on the front side and the back side. But that pink race car, Hope on the side. A little bit of a battle here with Chris Cloud and the 3 of Ron Fitting.
Chris Cloud back in his traditional Dasani paint scheme, as he's got that edge paint scheme on there. I'm glad to see Chris has finally come to his senses and put his favorite water back on the old number 10 Camry. You have to understand, being in this league as long as I have, you start to see those paint schemes change for no rhyme or reason, and all of a sudden guys start sucking wind when it comes to competitive drive. And Chris changed the paint scheme, and it wasn't working out for him. He came back to the Dasani paint scheme, and things are finally going in his way.
Yeah, even a couple years ago when I called this league, I remember Chris being in that Dasani car, running well. So never nice to see anybody have a bad stretch. But it is kind of ironic that he starts to run better once he gets back into this Dasani Toyota.
Well, and here's the thing. Chris is one of those drivers where he is consistent as if he takes Metamucil before every race. I mean, he is just regular as can be. And he will hit his marks time and time again. He'll make a couple of minor changes if he has to. But, we're going to see him crawl up here as we did last week at the Paperclip in Martinsville. I mean, you and I watched what had to be one of the longest races of our lives, nearly 4 hours to complete the 500 laps around Martinsville. And Chris got himself... That's fair. That is fair. But, Chris managed to get himself his first podium of the year just by being consistent and getting through that race.
Oh, and he's sideways hard into the wall on the inside.
And the broadcaster's curse lays down the Kavorka.
Yeah. Dr. Jack couldn't have even done that.
We'll see what happened here as Chris just absolutely nosed into the wall for no reason whatsoever. We're going to see him right here coming across the front stretch and into 1 and 2. I didn't see him get upset or lock a tire or anything. It's just the rear end of the car kept rotating.
Yeah, just never stopped rotating coming up off the corner. Smacks into the inside wall. That might do some damage to that left front wheel. Seems like he's able to continue on. Hasn't made a pit stop yet. That's Chris Claude sitting in 14th position now. Lost 2 spots after that contact. Seems to be okay.
Going to take a look just behind old Chris as John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, getting ready to overtake him for that position. Brandon Edstrom, meanwhile, here in the top 5, still working his way up after being upended, if you will, by Sean Rogers. He's getting ready to have to hold off Ryan Samuelson and Cody Colley, who seem to be working together to try to get their way into the top 5.
These guys trying to work their way up into the top 5. Samuelson in the 81 in 6th place, just a couple of tenths behind Brandon Edstrom, and we've seen Edstrom kind of falling back towards these guys ever since a little bit of contact that he had with Sean Rogers. Not really what you want to have happen to your tires early on when you've got a hot, crazy racetrack, but
no, we're going to see that racetrack change.
We're
going to see that racetrack change just a little bit. Right now, it's gone up to 89 degrees. So 2 degrees is a pretty drastic swing for grip here. I mean, once you hit the 90s, that's when you start to see a little bit of slip sliding around. Something that I've learned over the years dealing with this stuff as Ryan Samuelson goes side by side right now with Cody Colley. Colley looking to the inside of Samuelson, trying to find his way around. And it looks like this isn't going to be the... Ooh, he loosens himself up, and that's exactly what you were talking about earlier, Liam.
Yeah, you get down on that transition. It looked like he was going to have the run coming up off of turn number 4. Got down on that transition, upset the car, and it upset itself again when it came back onto the racetrack. Wasn't able to use that momentum off the corner to stay side by side with Samuelson. Now Samuelson's going to look out of the inside of Nolan Hodgson, or Brandon Edstrom rather, just in front of him.
You can see that number 81
Edstrom
bouncing as he hits the dog leg.
Here. Just heard on the radio that Edstrom thinks his toe link might be damaged, but he gave up that spot to Ryan Samuelson, and we'll see if he keeps giving up spots here as Brandon Edstrom has Cody Colley right up on his rear bumper. He goes up the racetrack once again. Colley to the inside.
Yeah, he
that
definitely...
wall contact that we noted earlier might have been a little bit more significant than I initially thought.
Well, you know, Edstrom kind of gave up that spot like a kid giving up his milk to the school bully and wasn't about to try to fight him off as he's still hemorrhaging positions. He now has the 29 of Tanner Marty hot on his heels. It may soon be time to see him consider, let's just say, heading down pit road as, you know, we know that he's got a strong race car, but he's not in the championship for it. Maybe time to at least come down pit road and keep from maybe, God forbid that thing breaks and he takes somebody out.
Tough call there because if caution does come out, that's not for him. He can come in and get it looked at, potentially not lose too much time and save us something moment coming up off the 2. We're going to go ahead and Chris Cloud seems to have had a moment. He might be worth checking out.
Take a look back here where Chris is. He's definitely far off the pace. I'm going to take a quick run back here. Oh, almost knocked the entire setup over. Let's just take a look here and run this back. You know, this is one of those where sometimes timing and scoring doesn't catch anything, and I don't see anything happening with Chris. It just seems
Pace car starting to pick up a little bit of pace as they come out of turn number 4.
That was a little unprepared.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just popped up with a recorded moment.
Well, now right here we see Ken Ron and Steve Herring side by side as Herring in the 89 tries to get underneath Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. Ron, of course, I believe was a late model stock car driver in the real world once upon a time on some of our Pennsylvania dirt. I'd have to look and verify. But right now, Sean Rogers being harassed by Nolan Hodgson in the 12. As Hodgson's starting to close that gap ever so gently. And, you know, here's the thing with a track like Phoenix. You know, once you start hitting your marks, and, you know, guys, especially here we are 26 laps in, just about halfway through stage 1, you know, guys, of course, burning their equipment up. As long as you're hitting your marks consistently, you're eventually going to start gaining positions, you know, with, I should say, relative ease.
Yeah, you would think we're going to see some comers and goers here throughout the course of the race. But we're only 27 laps into this thing, and this is the shortest stage of the race. We're not going to see any pit stops here. These guys are just going to kind of manage their stuff, know they can make it to the end. Once we get into stage number 2 and stage 3, though, that's where we're going to see these guys really start to push it. You know they're going to have to make at least one pit stop in each one of those stages. As we talk about that, Randall Watkins comes back into the pit lane. He was on the pit lane before, but has to come back down the pit lane. He's 2 laps down at the moment.
I don't want to peel the curtain back too far, but I do know that Randall Watkins is a 5-year cancer survivor from Miami, Florida. Unfortunately, you and I weren't able to cross paths with him when we were down there, but it looks like he's just coming down for tires. So every now and then, Randall may have to pull over and take a minute. And we've seen that a few times this season. And, of course, being a retired firefighter, of course, he's my brother down there on the racetrack, and can't tell him how much I love him enough.
Yeah, absolutely. We understand. You're going to sit and take a break. That's all right. Alex Murray, he's not in a position to take a break, though. He's got Jacob Schneider chasing him down. Alex Murray has the fastest lap of the race with 27:54. The last time around, he was half a tenth slower than your second place car, Jacob Schneider. 28:29 versus a 28:24 for first and second, respectively. We'll see what these lap times look like coming up off of turn number 4 through 3 and 4 rather this time. But Dave, these guys are not giving up halfway through stage number 1.
Not at all. In fact, as we look over the last 5 laps that Murray has run, I mean, lap 26, he was 28.217, and at lap 30, 28.298. So really not much fall off overall in a 5-lap stint. So we're going to be able to keep a close eye on that one. Of course, we also see the time delta here. He is probably also running some of the most consistent laps that we see across the stratosphere here as things go. Of course, we have the battle box also in your lower right-hand corner. Murray now putting Chris Claude down a lap as he is now going to, well, he's just about to be down a lap in about 0.8 of a second. So already some drivers going laps down. This is a pretty good first stage here halfway through.
Yeah, so far so good, especially if you're Alex Murray right now. You've got 0.6 over your closest competitor. You'd obviously like a bigger gap, maybe a couple more cars in between you. There is no better place to be on the racetrack than in first place, and that's where Alex Murray is right now. A little bit of a slide up in front of these guys that maybe caused a puff of smoke that you saw us driving through. Murray moves down to the inside to put Chris Claude 1 lap down, and Claude does not fight it. He's going to give up that spot to Jacob Schneider behind him as well. However, Schneider can't use up all the racetrack he wants, so he dives down to the bottom, coming up off of turn number 4.
I'll tell you what, I can't imagine if some of these guys are driving in a full motion rig, what that...
Sorry, Dave.
Where you got?
89 with up on the top side. Seems to be recovering okay. Didn't mean to interrupt your point there. Starting to
Nah, it's fine. I just think about these guys that are driving in full motion simulators, and I know that there's at least one in this league, and what that must feel like, you know, transitioning from the banking through the dog leg onto the flat. I mean, that's got to be violent. And if you have to pee, I mean, your kidneys are screaming at you.
Oh, absolutely. A full ladder is going to get pushed up real quick.
So get
Probably
that.
the closest the guy will ever know to pregnancy fee.
That is true. I haven't polled a whole lot of women, but I feel like every woman that I know who has gone through that has the same feeling and opinion. But taking a look here, looks like Cody Colley going to be making the pass just over top of Ryan Samuelson as they are side by side coming into 1 and 2. Samuelson holding on to his position over Colley, as Colley had a heck of a run coming out of 4. At this point, he's just kind of pestering him.
Yeah, he's getting right up to the back bumper here. He's trying to force him into a mistake. He says, I'm going to keep running where I want to run. I'm not going to change my lineup to pass you. I just need you to get out of my way. And the closer I get to your back bumper, the more likely you are to make a mistake that gets you out of my way. That's got to be that cold trickle strategy. Try that, get right up to the rear bumper. Maybe pass him on the side he doesn't expect you to when you get that opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you what, watching Colley just there coming out of 2 and onto the backstretch, he has to be one of the drivers that's getting absolutely I was about to say the closest to the wall without rubbing it, as he does rub the wall coming out of 4. But I mean, at this point your strategy has to be just go where they ain't, as DW would tell us. And for Colley to keep hitting it the way that he is, he's now got the edge here on the inside of Samuelson. They're going to drag race down the backstretch and into 3 as Colley finally wrestles away 6th position from Ryan Samuelson.
And now he's got a 2.5 seconds up in front of him to try to get up into the top 5, chase down Tanner Marty. It's going to be a tough task up in front of him. Tell you what, man, now he's in the cleaner air up in front of Ryan Samuelson. Might have himself a little bit more downforce, a little bit more grip. These guys work through lap number 39, completing 39, 40 laps now. And, we got just about 20 to go in stage number 1. Big time moment sideways for Colley, coming up off of turn number 4. Man, I thought he was going to lose it there. Good job keeping it straight, not overcorrecting, and continuing to keep this gap on Ryan Samuelson behind him.
For all the complaining that we do about that dogleg on the front stretch, if that would have been a standard, turn 4 exit with a normal apron on the bottom, he would have been.
Dave. We've got battle for the race lead heating up right now. Jacob Schneider has gotten within 0.2 right up to the rear bumper coming up off of turn number 2.
They come down the backstretch separated by less than 0.2 of a second as Schneider is sniffing the exhaust pipe of Alex Murray. They have been in the same position since the green flag flew, and now all of a sudden Murray watching that lead evaporate as side by side they go through the dogleg and into 1.
Schneider gets down to the inside, touched the apron, now he slides up the racetrack just a little bit, about half a lane separating these two, but the bottom lane seems to be more prevalent for this 0-2 of Jacob Schneider. Dives it down into turns 3 and 4, and watch this beautiful blimp cam. You get to see just where they gas it up. The top side of Murray gassed it up early, touches the wall, and that's going to put Jacob Schneider into the race lead and championship lead on lap number 43 in stage number 1 here at Phoenix in the Stacy Strong Cup Series. Man, I tell you what, we're early on, but that was a heck of a move and a heck of a battle for both of these drivers.
It certainly was. Watching that unfold just as you described it was an absolute art for these two drivers as the 22 seeds away the lead for the first time tonight after rubbing the wall. And speaking of Stacy Strong, we're going to step aside and hear for the first time from Trisha's Hope, one of our proud sponsors here of the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series.
So, hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. As during the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
Back live here at Phoenix Raceway. Just 8 laps to go in stage number 1. Jacob Schneider leads over Alex Murray. Nolan Hodgson in 3rd place. Sean Rogers in 4th. And Tanner Marty rounds out the top 5. And I tell you what, Jacob Schneider is the story of the race so far. Having gotten around your race leader for the longest time at the beginning, Alex Murray chased him down, made the pass, and now has 2 seconds of a gap as they have just 7 laps to go here in this first stage. Jacob Schneider feeling strong at the beginning. Obviously, Dave, we've got 260 laps to go.
You know, and the thing is, when you start looking when you start looking back in retrospect at you know, some of these races that we've run over the season, I mean, you have to start thinking to yourself, where did some of these drivers come from? I mean, Jacob Schneider, you know, of course, early on in the season wasn't even here. In fact, in this league, he didn't come in until about midway in the season and raced just enough races to get himself here into the championship four. I mean, of course, our Daytona 500 winner was Travis Kreinborg, who left to go do other things. We've seen other names come through this league since week 1. Of course, Austin Story, Jeff Carson. You know, but Jeremy Miller, on the other hand, has been here since the beginning. He finished 4th at Daytona, and quite frankly, not so great tonight as he sits on the hauler as he had that first lap incident coming out of the dogleg.
Yeah, tough break for him. He had 2 wins on the season. First guy to lock himself into this Final Four, so he came in technically as number 1. But another driver to talk about, I would say, would be Alex Murray. He is not a where did he come from type of driver. He's been here the whole time. He has been in your face the whole time. He's got 10 wins on the season, 18 top 5s. That's 50% of the races out of this 36 race season rather 35 at this point before the completion of this one. That is an incredible job by that number 22 of Alex Murray. He's got, like I said, 10 wins, 18 top 5. He's out here thinking this championship belongs to him, but instead it's Jacob Schneider up in front of him, the race leader. Driver with 5 wins, 8 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Got him up into the championship for him. Right now, Jacob Schneider leads the race over Alex Murray, and I tell you what, he's feeling pretty good as we've got just 3 laps to go rather, in this first stage.
You know, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I mean, we're looking at it now. We have gone caution-free. I don't want to jinx it too much, but we have gone caution-free already this race, and just 7 cars left on the lead lap as Jacob Schneider running a clinic once again. And, you know, after what we witnessed last week at Martinsville, I'm curious to see at this point, maybe we should open the sports book that Frank Marchese was talking about and see whether or not we're going to have more than 5 cars on the lead lap at the end.
That's the beauty of the sports book, is you can bet on just about anything. I was looking at an app today, and you could bet on how good the first pit stop for a Formula One series. They'll pick anything you can bet on. The safest bet you can do is Jacob Schneider taking home stage number 1. He's got 3.6 seconds over second place Alex Murray right now. A little bit of lap traffic in front of him, but even if he slows up to not pass them or deal with them, it shouldn't end up being enough. There's him back. Cody Colley, you see back here in 5th place. Nope. Nobody's got anything for Jacob Schneider. He's got the stage win. And the caution comes out for the first time here today.
The field will freeze. The field will freeze right here. Jacob Schneider bringing home the green and white checkered flag, followed by Alex Murray, Nolan Hodgson, Sean Rogers, Tanner Marty, Cody Colley, Ryan Samuelson, Brandon Edstrom, Ron Fitting, and John Wilco from McAdoo, Pennsylvania rounds out your top 10. And we are going to get a chance real quick to talk to Jacob. If I can find him up here. There he is, hiding in the field filler racer room. Hey, Jacob, it's Dave and Liam up in the booth. You got us.
I sure do. How's it going, guys?
Listen, it's going good for us. What a pass you had over the double deuce, you know, here in the latter portion of stage 1. Take us through that. I mean, were you just waiting for him to rub the wall? Because he was running awful close to the wall that entire stage.
Yeah, I just saved my tires. I saw him backing up to me. So, just trying to be patient. Sorry, trying to get on pit lane here.
Yeah, let's let him make the pit stop here and talk to him in a couple of seconds.
As Jacob Schneider leads us down.
I had a good long run car there like I thought I would. If we have a yellow close to the end, I'm a little concerned, honestly, because he was fast there early.
Now, as soon as you get here into the box, I got to ask the question. There you go, right side's up. So, you know, I got to know, how hard is it to discipline yourself to come through this pit road? Of course, this is all but the longest pit road in NASCAR on the circuit. You know, you've got to keep that speed steady the whole time as you do beat off Alex Murray. You know, take us through getting down pit road.
Getting on here is weird for green flag stops because the cone's actually like further down the wall, where usually the wall is your it's kind of the point you're looking at with your eyes, but you can't really see the cone till you get there. So as far as in the pit lane, I'm just looking at my speed the whole time. Like I could probably do it for 10 minutes straight and just I've practiced. I can hit that number.
Yeah, man, listen, you had a great first stage. You had a great pit stop here. So did you make any changes, or what are we thinking going into 2?
No changes at all. We're going to try to do the same thing. If he wants to go quick here and burn his tires up again, I would just let him go, honestly. But I know I got the long run car. Kind of like
right.
Blaney.
Oh, there it is. All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the stage 1 win. Maybe we'll see you here at the end of 2.
I hope to talk to you guys again.
All right, brother man. We're going to send you back on up here into field filler racing. Liam, at the end of stage number 1, you know, we look at whether or not these drivers are going to be making any changes. What are you thinking that some of the other drivers are going to be feeling moving forward here?
I tell you what, if you're the 22 car, you've got to try to figure out the balance between your short and long run speed. It was super strong here in the first 30 or so laps, but once they got around that 30 lap mark, the 22 really lost a lot of time to Jacob Schneider. This time around, we've got 120 laps in the stage.
Yes, sir.
Double the length that we had before, and well, you're going to need a lot more for tire saving. If you're concerned about whether you've got a longer... I'm stumbling on words too much. I apologize.
That's fine. It's all right. Everybody loves a good Miller Lite. You know, here's the thing. Like, you come through these opening stages, and usually our stages are equal the first two and then double that length for the third stage. So, you know, the strategy is going to be changing as conditions change. I mean, you know, track temperature's still at 89 degrees, but, you know, something tells me that these drivers are going to have their hands full as we get later here into the sim racing afternoon, as the iRacing.com pace car peels off down pit road and basically leaves these drivers all alone to their own devices coming down the backstretch. This is such a long parade lap without a pace car.
Yeah, I talked about how this is now the longest compared to Talladega, where the pace car goes in super early. These guys have a super long wait when the green flag comes out. Jacob Schneider going to lead them down. He's got the inside. Alex Murray to his outside. Green flag is in the air. And a huge run on the inside for Jacob Schneider. He's going to get away by a couple of car lengths. And these guys already swinging wide and wild, getting down the dogleg into turn number 1.
Wide and wild they are as Schneider used that dogleg to get as much momentum as he could to build an already 0.3 of a second lead over Alex Murray. Things starting to heat up, though, behind him as Brandon Edstrom going to be fighting side by side with nothing but a bunch of angry Hornets as he is right up against the rear bumper of Rafael Rodriguez from Curitiba. And, oh, the 81 sideways coming through the front.
Oh, contact!
And there's our first caution of the night.
That first caution for cause there comes up for Ryan Samuelson, going head on into the wall through the dogleg. Let's see what happened here. A little bit of contact from the 80, gets him turned sideways. Just maybe gets on the gas a little too hard on the transition. I'm not sure. Those things are already tough to handle over the transition when you have your bearings under your belt.
It looked like the 80 just gave him a nudge, and the 81 just could not keep it together, if you will. We'll take another look here. Maybe from 4. Oh, nope. There he goes. As they come up out of here. Oh! My goodness. Definitely not how you want to start stage 2.
No, tough break there for Ryan Samuelson. He's going to fall back to, looks to be 8th position. Still on the lead lap, but some front end damage there. It's not going to be easy moving forward with so many laps to go. Only on lap number 68, coming to 69 of 312.
Well, and that's going to make Ron Fitting our lucky dog, so he's going to get his lap back, so good for him. Of course, that's where patience pays off in a race like this, especially in a season like this. I mean, you know, I know one of my biggest flaws as a driver was always being impatient, or God forbid I should get somewhere in the top 5 and my hands get a little sweaty and all of a sudden you make a stupid choice. But, you know, for a lot of these drivers, patience has paid off and gotten them to this stage in the season.
Yeah, it certainly has. Patience has been a huge thing for all of these guys running 100% length races. What it's going to take to win this championship is the pace car moves down the back straightaway. We're anticipating getting 1 to green this time. Jacob Schneider leads over the 22, Alex Murray. Then we've got Nolan Hodgson, Sean Rogers, Tanner Marty, Cody Golly, Brandon Edstrom, and Ryan Samuelson is in the pits right now, getting a little bit more of that damage looked at by his team.
And of course, not to toot our own horn or anything, but Sim Racing Media is the proud broadcaster of all three of the SNN family of racing series right here on YouTube.com. Want to invite everybody, if you like hanging out with me tonight here, you can come along tomorrow night for championship night in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. We go green flag racing right about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And, of course, then Tuesday night, of course, we have the Jack Dow Simulators and Esports iRacing.com Truck Series also going green on Tuesday night at about 8:30. So the season wrapping up, and it has been wild from start to finish. And, I mentioned it in our show open, that we've seen a lot of changes. Of course, the biggest change that you folks at home notice, of course, are the voices here in the broadcast booth. Of course, we started with the great one, Tony Trapasso. Hi, Deb Harris. I see you here at our YouTube.com live chat. But, of course, the great Tony Trapasso crossing the Rainbow Bridge, if you will, as he was our leader here and deciding to go home to heaven a little bit too soon for any of us. And, of course, Matt Metler, who has chosen to go on and do other things. I won't say bigger and better, that's for sure, because there's nothing better than Sim Racing Media, right, Liam?
No, not at all. We're proud of what we do here, and we're also proud of Matt for going out and doing what he's got going on. I think he's got a project in the works, so props to him for having that going on. But we've got ourselves a championship battle heating up here. The first caution for a cause is wrapping up. The pace car makes that hard left turn, and once again, these guys have the longest wait of the Oval Series, waiting for these. Waiting for the flag here, waiting for the Geico restart zone. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting restart here. Jacob Schneider down to the inside, Alex Murray. Jacob Schneider once again with the super good jump there, gets down to the inside, about 4, 5, 6 car lengths over the top. The second place battle here is the top car. Alex Murray has the 12 of Nolan Hodgson underneath him. He's under fire. Jacob Schneider holds out of the race lead once again. Maybe a little bit of wall contact there out of Alex Murray.
Yeah, Murray rubbing the wall just a little bit right here at Phoenix Raceway. You're watching Sim Racing Media, the voice of Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series action, as Nolan Hodgson working the low side here of Alex Murray. They're battling it out as if this is a shootout in the Old West, and it certainly is as they come into 1 and 2.
There.
Oh, my.
Sean Rogers got a big-time bump from the 74 of Brandon Edstrom. Edstrom gets down to the inside coming up off of turn number 2, but what a save there out of the 33, or 44 rather, of Sean Rogers. He's going to give it right back there coming up off of turn number 4. Not going to benefit him the way it benefited the 74, however.
No, Amanda Price here in our YouTube.com live chat has to be proud of her boyfriend, Sean Rogers, who just gave it right back to the 74 and just whacked him right in the rear as they came out of turn 3 and 4. Now as they go down the backstretch out of 1 and 2, they've put a little bit more distance, but Rogers starting to get another run on Brandon Edstrom.
Yeah, and I'd say you could bet your bottom dollar that guy's going to give it right back. Sean Rogers in the 33 could not have liked getting past that way. If he's got the speed to get back around him, he's going to make sure that wasn't he's going to make sure the 74 rather knows that wasn't the way to get around him.
I would definitely rather bet my bottom dollar than bet a dollar on my bottom, that's for sure.
Well, neither one of us have bottoms good enough for dollars, so we're going to go ahead and stick with our broadcasting career. We've got ourselves an incredible battle now for the top 4. Sean Rogers continuing to put the pressure on Brandon Edstrom just in front of him. Guys have been pretty tough to separate throughout the course of this race.
Absolutely, as everybody has gone single file once again, and that's kind of indicative of what we've seen all season long from this league. This league prides itself on safe driving, and maybe last week was not a good showcase of that, but here at Phoenix it has been so far. A lot of these drivers have learned that going single file and picking drivers off one at a time, although maybe more challenging, is definitely safer to get around this place and boogie through every step of the season. As Sean Rogers still harassing the rear end of Brandon Edstrom, as Edstrom now holds just about 0.2 of a second over top of the 44. taking a run through the rest of the field. That's just about the closest battle there is besides this one here for the lead as it's starting to heat up now.
Yeah.
Alex Murray wants his lead back.
Yeah, Dave, I was just getting ready to say Alex Murray is all up onto the rear bumper of Jacob Schneider. He's had the shorter run car, clearly based on stage number 1. We're under 25 laps into, or 15 laps into this first stage. Now Alex Murray looks down to the bottom side, not quite enough there, but he's thinking about it, and he's putting himself right into the rear view mirror, or camera, if you will, on this next-gen car of Jacob Schneider in the 02.
Taking a look at it from the rear bumper of Jacob Schneider right at Alex Murray's nose, and Alex Murray trying to find his way around. Basically, wherever Schneider goes, Murray is, or wherever Murray goes, Schneider is too. He's not afraid to cook some of his equipment up, and he knows that he can use up Alex Murray's gas.
Yeah, he also knows that if he can play that dirty air game, it's going to be a lot tougher for Alex Murray in the 22 to gas it up and turn the car where he wants to if he doesn't have as much downforce on the front of the car. You can see from this angle that rear diffuser up on the car in front. That is an incredibly detrimental thing for a following car right now, especially when you're racing to the lead. There's no dirty air up in front of the car in front of you. You've got a tough task in front of you to get it done. But Alex Murray, he's a strong car, a strong driver, 10 wins on the year. If anybody can get it done, it'd be him.
And of course, riding along on this Mustang, I see a lot of the same strategy that they're using, especially with gearing, as we saw in the real-life race today. Of course, Murray staying in 4th gear down the backstretch, just in 5th for just a brief moment, but he's almost hitting that rev limiter going into 3.
A little bit of a run coming up off of 2, a little bit of a wiggle for the 22 of Alex Murray. That's going to give the 02 a little bit of a run coming up off, but we stay up on this front bumper cam and see just how close he gets. He slides up a little bit wider, trying to get some clean air up on the right side of the fender there. Comes up off of turn number 4. He's got himself a nice run. Gets right up to the rear bumper. Is he going to hit him? Well, that's close. That's close, man. Look at the diffuser there.
Yeah, you couldn't fit a 3x5 car between those two cars just there. As they are still going to be battling it out here. Sean Rogers, though, back a little bit further, still trying to pester Brandon Edstrom and get around him. He wants a chance to go battle it out with the 22 as the double deuce gets right underneath Jacob Schneider. Now there's fender to fender going through turn number 3 as they haul it off here onto the front stretch. I'm sorry, onto the backstretch. Damn it, that happens every time at this racetrack, I swear. But as they haul it off, he just about had him fender to fender and then lost his run.
Seems to be that the 22 is faster at this stage in the game. These guys' teammates out here, but that race win, championship win, means a lot more than making your teammate happy. So you're not going to give him any inch here. Not like you'd give anybody else an inch.
No, and as I had mentioned earlier in our Discord channel, you don't want to be the driver who's not in the playoffs who wins the race, because for you it's like, oh joy, I won the race. Meanwhile, somebody is celebrating a seasons-long victory. So these two drivers up here, it just seems very apropos as once again knifing his way underneath the 02. Alex Murray thought that he had the run and lost it again.
Yeah, he's playing a patient game right now. He knows he's got the quicker car. We're not sure what adjustments he was able to make there under the pit stop there after stage number 1 was completed. We know he didn't come into pit on the Brian Samuelson spin, so it'll be interesting to see how long he's able to stick with this 02. But right now, that car doing great in dirty air and doesn't seem to be falling off as much as it was earlier.
Ron Fitting working the high side, getting around the 80. That's Mark Johnston in the Asparagus Radio Ford Mustang deeper in the field. I nearly forgot that there were other drivers out here on the track as that battle for the lead was heating up the way that it was, as they're still going to be up there digging around looking for any kind of clean air. Just behind the 33, that's Ken Ron, as he's down a couple of laps. Right now, Randall Watkins last on the track, down 4 laps. So maybe a rough time there for Randall, but at the same time, this is what championship week is supposed to look like.
Cody Colley also off of the racetrack. He's not sure what's going on with that number 56 car, but he's off the racetrack in 17th. You mentioned Randall Watkins, a couple of laps down, not having a good day. Ken Ron, Chris Claude got lapped earlier on, but continues on the racetrack, just one lap down. Closest battle on the racetrack is for the race lead, but Sean Rogers, he's trying to chase down Brandon Edstrom to get up to that 4th position. Trying to get a little bit closer to these championship 3, rather, that he's racing after Jeremy Miller had Christopher Bell type of luck and got taken out early on in the race due to no fault of his own.
You know, and I'll say this about the Jeremy Miller incident alongside of Christopher Bell. You know, I was so excited when you and I got to be next to one another watching Christopher Bell punch his ticket to the championship at Homestead, and I thought, all right, if this is who I get to see punch his ticket, then this is who I'm going to be pulling for, you know, going into Homestead. And, of course, you know, today was an early exit at Phoenix. And you know what? For lack of a better term, sometimes that's just the way the tire bounces.
The way she goes, the way the cookie crumbles.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, buddy. No, and I mean, it was a good job by Ryan Blaney. He was really strong in the final couple of legs in the playoffs and really showed up here. But one thing that I want to bring up is how cool is it that Ross Chastain, not one of the Final Four, becomes the first guy in 10 years that's not one of the Final Four to win the race. Yeah, it took him 20, 25 minutes to interview him, but he still got the job done. He got his 4th career win, and he's won at almost every style of racetrack. He's won at Circuit of the Americas, he won at Talladega, Nashville, and now Phoenix Raceway. John Rogers getting around. We were watching that there, and now he's going to have Brandon Edstrom look back down to the inside. Is he going to be able to get there? Well, he's there, but not going to have the momentum. Sean Rogers moves himself up into 4th. Now he's got Nolan Hodgson between him, Murray, and Schneider. Drivers he's racing for a championship.
And I'll tell you what, right now, Nolan Hodgson probably in the best position on the racetrack because he's got this battle ahead of him that's all kinds of hot and heavy between Schneider and Murray in the O2 and the Double Deuce. Hodgson just kind of out here logging laps. You know, he could have himself a Ross Chastain moment. And if somebody between Schneider and Murray makes a mistake, Hodgson suddenly gets himself into the race lead, followed by Sean Rogers. You know, and I did kind of feel bad for Chastain because, I mean, you know, yeah, you finally pick up your win here at Phoenix. First driver in 10 years to not be in the championship for to bring home the checkered flag. And you kind of feel like the last pick in the NFL draft. Nobody really cared about you.
Yeah, sure, you made it there, but you get that jersey that says Mr. Irrelevant.
You know, and that's the thing. We'll be talking for years about, you know, the championship run this season, and somebody will say, well, who won that final race? And you have to actually go back to Racing Reference to find out because you'd simply forget.
To be fair, that's the way it used to always be. Do you know who won the race when Jim Johnson won his first Cup title?
I do
not. The caution
not.
has come out. The caution is...
No, it hasn't.
Oh, jeez.
I see
I'm
green.
sorry. I got a bad message there. Saw some smoke. Got a message on...
Smoke, but no fire.
Yep.
No, you know what? As a matter of fact, I don't remember who won the race when Jimmy Johnson won his first championship.
Greg Biffle.
No kidding. Good old Biff. You know what? Speaking of Biffle, I'm really starting to like the SRX series. First of all, it harkens to a fixed racing league here on iRacing because everybody is exactly the same. Second of all, it kind of resurrects a few of the names that you and I grew up watching. And I have to say this about the retirement of Kevin Harvick, because maybe he'll make an appearance in the SRX series like some of these fellas. That'd be all right. You know, I watched Kevin Harvick retire today, and he was still competitive even in his last race. Sometimes you see these drivers that hang on too long, and, you know, they're just pitiful at the end of their careers. I feel like Kevin Harvick still has another 5 years in the tank. ish if he wanted to, but he's making the smart decision to go out while he still can figure out how many fingers and toes he has.
Yeah, and I mean, there's, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but there's definitely a couple races that he almost won this year. Phoenix, the first time around, that was one that without a late race caution, I think he would have had. And then Darlington, I think he could have had a really good shot at that without the Tyler Reddick spin getting down into the pits. But, Kevin Harvick, he was absolutely strong all season, especially with a really not so great performing team. It's nice to see Harvick get out there and lead some laps here today and still be able to go out close to the top.
Listen, there was a period in time where, we came to Phoenix and that was just a Harvick kind of track. He was almost synonymous with Phoenix and winning, if you will. In fact, let me quick pull up some of the accolades here for Phoenix, because of course we all know that it's there. I want you to understand when I say that Phoenix was a Kevin Harvick track that I'm not just talking out of my hat. Kevin Harvick has 9 wins, which is the most since last year in 2022. He has the most top 5s at 19, the most top 10s at 29, 40 starts here at Phoenix, then ISM. Ryan Newman has 4 poles. Mark Martin has the most laps completed, but Kevin Harvick has the most laps led at 1,596. And he also has the closest finish in Phoenix history at 0.01 seconds.
I won a $50 bar tab when we did that.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
It was a random raffle. We showed up late. You just pick a name out of the hat.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just seemed like every time we came here to Phoenix that this was just all of a sudden a Harvick track. I mean, Dale Jr. went back-to-back in Novembers in 03 and 04 and picked up a 3rd win here in November of 2015, which is pretty good for the Hall of Famer. But when you look down the record list, it's Harvick.
You said Kevin Harvick has led like 1,560...
1,596.
1,596. That is almost 5 entire Cup races here. 312 laps.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible.
5 races start to finish if he were to do it all in a row.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I mean, even here, if you look through the list of course, we started coming here in 1988. And the first winner, when you look down the list of names that have won at Phoenix, you know that this must be a tough track because the names that have all brought home the checkered flags here are Hall of Fame names. Alan Kulwicki wins the first race, November 6, 1988. I wasn't even born yet. I was born 19 days later. Rebecca, though, she was alive for that because she's old as all hell. She just had her birthday on Saturday. But
happy birthday, kiddo.
Liam says happy birthday. She says thank you.
Got to throw the kiddo party.
But so she's now 35 now. But Bill Elliott wins the second race. And I mean, there's names on this list: Davey Allison, Ricky Rudd, Bobby Hamilton, Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton. I mean, the list goes on. And there's not one driver who's won here at Phoenix that doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. Sans Kyle Larson, sans Joey Logano, because I don't like him.
Yeah, but that's a 2-time champ. He's going to get in.
I just don't like him. That's all. That is all. That's all I feel about him. He just seems slimy.
I respect it because he will admit he's two-faced. He'll be respectful to you off the track, but when it comes to the on-track stuff, he's here to win. That's his job. He'll do what it takes to get it done.
That is true.
I'm not a Joey fan. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am, but tell you what, man. He backs up his talk. Yeah, down to the inside, Nolan Hodgson on Alex Murray. Murray has lost a considerable amount of time to Jacob Schneider out front.
Schneider said he was going to let him burn his stuff up.
Yeah, you You called that pretty perfectly, as now the pass is made. Nolan Hodgson moves up into second place.
Now, what's going to be interesting there is that puts Hodgson here in P2, leading Alex Murray. We've got a long way to go, just about 75 laps to the end of stage number 2. And, right now, it seems like Alex Murray can't get himself away from his fellow Championship 4 drivers, or 3, that is, as now he leads Sean Rogers by about, 1.4 seconds. So Hodgson now trying to turn it on and catch Schneider, who's opened up a 2.5 second lead. Got some wicked indigestion from some White Castle earlier today. My goodness.
I'll tell you what, I worked at White Castle for 2 years, and still not sure my stomach has recovered, but right now you see the 12 working down to the inside of Chris Claude. You mentioned a 2.5 second gap between him and Jacob Schneider for the race lead. That's going to be super tough to overcome, but we're getting to about the halfway point in this stage. I believe it ends on lap 180 or 185. We've got ourselves...
It's going to end on lap
close to the
185.
So we're getting close to the halfway point, which means the pit window could be opening up relatively soon here.
Taking a look at our YouTube.com live chat,
Caution
Jeremy.
has just come out, and this time I'm serious.
And it looks like Brandon Edstrom has had himself a moment. Let's take a look back and see what happened. As he was running all by his lonesome after having hemorrhaged those spots.
I wonder if he's trying to come into the pits.
And things didn't work out for him.
Nope, that wasn't the case. Just gets sideways coming up off of turn number 2. And
it's almost the same thing as we saw with Chris Claude.
Did what he could to keep it up off of the wall, but unfortunately overcorrects it a couple of times. Still gets that nose a little bit of a kiss to the wall.
We'll take a look here a little bit closer, as he did have just about the same incident that Chris Claude did, where the rear end just kept coming around on him. And he thought he had it, and then he didn't have it.
Meanwhile, pit stops are happening. Every single one of the lead lap drivers has come in. Jacob Schneider, Nolan Hodgson, Alex Murray, Sean Rogers, Tanner Marty. Ron Fitting and John Wilco stay out, trying to get a lap back. Nope, Ron Fitting comes in.
Nope. Wilco going to stay out. He's going to get a lap back. And, here's the thing that Wilco's betting on right now. These top, 6 drivers that just came in, they're going to be, yeah, Chris is asking if that was Brandon. You bet your boots he is. But, Wilco going to get that lap back. He's betting on perhaps a quick caution as, the cold tire bug going to start.
Murray off the pits. Hodgson comes out in second. Then Rogers, Tanner Marty, Ron Fitting going to be the final one off of the pit lane. Jacob Schneider gets out front. We started at 87.
So as we get ready to restart, going to be Jacob Schneider, Nolan Hodgson, Alex Murray, and Sean Rogers. So 3 of our Championship 4 drivers getting ready to restart here in the top 4. Of course, our 4th Championship driver, Jeremy Miller, putting it on the hauler literally on lap 1 after a very unfortunate start to this piece, which, that's got to be frustrating. You race your heart out for 41 weeks and bite the big one on lap 1 of the last race.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine, let alone console. It's a really tough way to have your championship weekend go. And props to Jeremy Miller for the season that he was able to put together. He definitely deserved to be here racing for the championship at Phoenix, but what happened on lap number 1 was just kind of one of those unpredictable situations. And
well, and this league is this league is made up of all kinds of different drivers. I mean, if you look at the I ratings of some of these drivers, you know, Jacob Schneider at nearly 7,000 racing right alongside of, you know, drivers with a 1,700 or a 1,500 like Rafael Rodriguez. You know, this league has opened their doors to everybody. And you know, sometimes there's drivers, don't get me wrong, that get tired of driving in the public races. So those I ratings, to me, aren't necessarily accurate.
Yeah, it's not necessarily indicative of how good a driver is, but tell you what, you get out there and you win a lot of official races. That's what a lot of people are looking for in terms of contender, or road to pro, and stuff like that. A lot of people take a lot of pride in the I rating. So, I mean, say if you're somebody like Ron Fitting right now, who's at a roughly like a 1900, not trying to call out I ratings or anything, but it's got to be feeling pretty good to be racing with somebody like Jacob Schneider pushing 7,000.
Absolutely. The iRacing.com pace car made the hard left turn down pit road. As Hodgson and Schneider going to bring us into the Geico restart zone. Hodgson better hang back or bad things are going to happen. We hit the restart zone. Hodgson takes off. I thought he was scored as P2, but off we go. Nolan Hodgson taking the lead away from Jacob Schneider. Kind of an interesting scoring decision. I thought that Schneider had the win off of pit road.
Yeah, I thought so too. As they come up off of turn number 2, though, up on the top side, Nolan Hodgson in the 12. He's going to stay strong. O2 not going to let him get away, though, as see one get up the racetrack just a little bit further back. I believe that was John Wilco. Will stay. Or, sorry, Ron Fitting, rather.
We're wrecking back here at the 60.
Big crash. That one is Rafael Rodriguez.
They're come on, get moving. We stayed green. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, Steve got sideways there in the 89, and Rafael had nowhere to go.
No, just as... that is rough.
Yeah, Steve Herring.
And I'll tell you what, we're lucky to have stayed green because, of course, no drivers around him. And he managed to get pointed back forward after coming back up onto the racing surface. So we stay green flag racing on lap 120. Jacob Schneider, now your race leader once again. Nolan Hodgson running in P2. Looks like...
We're not hearing anything in terms of a penalty for the 12, so...
No, and in fact, here's the pass.
Okay.
Here's the pass for the lead as Schneider came back around Hodgson. And it's almost like perhaps they were trying to check up because they thought that they were going to have a caution. And Schneider capitalized on it and made the pass around the 12 as he leads us across the start-finish line on lap 122 of 312. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. This is Phoenix Raceway, and you're watching Sim Racing Media, the voice of Sunday Night NASCAR. Dave Riegel and Liam Ervig with you here in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. We're going to step aside and pay some bills right now here on Sim Racing Media.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D Cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. You're watching Sim Racing Media with Dave Riegel and Liam Ervig. Right here, the voice of Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series action as Nolan Hodgson harassing the bejesus out of Alex Murray on lap 138. We're working our way toward lap 185 for the conclusion of stage number 2 here. But Alex Murray about to bleed away P2 from Nolan Hodgson. Hodgson was originally scored as P2 coming out of the last caution and somehow managed to get the race lead away from Jacob Schneider, who now is back up front. As
not entirely sure if it was maybe Jacob Schneider spun the tires, but while we were under brake, we saw Alex Murray chase down this 12 car, get around him. However, the 12 of Nolan Hodgson is not making this easy for him. He's leaning on the door, not quite making contact, but man, Dave, that was close coming up off turn number 2.
Yeah, Hodgson has been harassing Murray now for the last at least six laps that we've been watching. And I got to figure that at some point Murray is going to accidentally give away this position. I mean, he was rubbing the wall as if he was a bear trying to scratch an itch.
Yeah, He definitely was, putting his back up against the wall. So far, so good. He's been able to arc that corner fine enough. Hold on to the lower lane. 12 car not able to get the run coming up off. Tell you what, he's only sitting about 1.5 seconds off of your race lead. Alex Murray is. Now the 12 looks up to the top side. See if he can make a move up there. Alex Murray, he's chasing down at Jacob Schneider. Has to be hoping that this 12 car makes it a little bit easier on him so that he can get into a rhythm. 12 car not doing that though, as Nolan Hodgson moves it down to the inside once again.
We can see Murray and Hodgson's lap delta right here. And it's almost as if Murray, and here we are switching again, as Murray and Hodgson side by side going through 1 and 2, almost
and
exchanging
the longer they
paint.
run side by side, the longer they run side by side, the more time they're going to lose to your race leader, Jacob Schneider.
Yeah, Schneider's got to be loving watching this in his rearview mirror.
Murray gets cleared down to the bottom, up in front of the 12. Nolan Hodgson now tries to look forward, but how hard does Nolan Hodgson at the 12 try to fight? Jacob Schneider has a lap car in between him and the battle behind him, along with 1.9 seconds of track time. He's got himself a nice gap as we approach just 40 to go in stage number 2.
And we can see exactly to your point, now we can really, put it up here on the graphic. Schneider has been growing his lead ever since Murray and Hodgson started duking it out back here. I mean, you can see that graph growing ever so much bigger as he edges closer to that 2-second mark over these two drivers whose graph is basically dead even with one another.
These guys have been virtually inseparable the whole time we've been watching. A little bit of wall contact here on Nolan, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down much at all. The lap car of the 80 machine was able to get out of the way. That was Mark Johnston. Now nobody separating second and first place. But now the 12 car moves up to the top, trying to be the one to separate those two. Almost got up into the wall. Alex Murray was having none of that run.
No, Murray was only faster than Hodgson on lap 143 as we cross the line here to get the data for 145. Looks like Murray was just 1/100th of a second faster than Hodgson for that lap. So this sequence very important as far as timing and scoring concerned, with now 40 exactly to go to the end of stage 2. These drivers have been going at it, and I'm pretty sure when they bring it back to the garage at the end of this race, there's going to be some red paint on the side of the double deuce.
Yeah, there might be a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see if there's any red paint on that car before the end of this race. If you're the 12 car, if you're trying to get around that 22, you got to be getting a little bit frustrated. It's tough to make a pass here in Phoenix, but when you feel like you're quicker and you feel like you've had so many opportunities to make that pass, you're just going to get more and more frustrated. And maybe a little bit of contact there getting down into turn 3 is what the 12 is going to do, send him up the racetrack. Not quite a ship, but he's letting him know he's there, Dave.
He is riding along with the onboard camera of the 12 machine from Lamar's, Iowa, not too far away from our teammate Emily Urias' hometown. He's going to look to the inside of the double deuce now. He thinks he's got the run, but he tries to steal a little bit of a draft. He's going to undercut him right here going into turn 3, getting right along the inside wall.
Right,
does he get through the pass? Let's take a spin around and see.
Yeah, Murray just gave it up. He let him go getting down into turn 3 and 4. Because we're coming towards the end of stage 2. I'm going to keep on fighting this thing. I'm going to let you get up there and maybe pull me closer to the race lead.
Yeah, at this stage in the race, you almost have to work together to at least make some kind of progress on catching up to the race leader, as we see Nolan Hodgson taking P2, while Jacob Schneider this entire time has developed his lead into a 2.7-second number over top of Hodgson. So now we might see Hodgson and Murray work together as, maybe Murray's thinking to himself, hey, I got to be here at the end. I got to be here to compete for that championship trophy. I got to protect my equipment, as Murray and Rogers, your other two of the championship 3 drivers still running in this race, are now working together, perhaps to go take on Schneider.
Are they working together as Sean Rogers goes down to the inside, down the front straightaway, cuts the dog leg a little bit, but lets out of the gas before the 22 does, staying in behind him, trying to work a different line. I think Sean Rogers is not in the business of trying to help this guy up in front to get closer to the race lead. I think he wants this track position. He wants to get up there in front of another championship competitor and get as close to the rear bumper of Jacob Schneider as he possibly can. And I tell you what, with the caution coming out in just 35 laps to the end of stage 2, the best way to do that is to get fewer and fewer cars between you and that driver's rear bumper. Working the inside right now on Alex Murray. Is he going to be able to get there? Not quite enough. Coming up off of turn number 2. He stays down to the inside though, keeps that look to the inside, down to the door. Gonna slide up the racetrack just a little bit. So does Murray though, and now they come up off of the final corner.
They come through the dog leg, and right now the double deuce has the edge. But Sean Rogers just saw how Nolan Hodgson was able to overtake Murray. So at this stage in the race, we're going to see Rogers perhaps try to steal a little something here. We're going to watch him get a little bit of a draft as, wow, Murray rubs the wall. He's going to maybe consider knifing his way through, but Murray drops down in front of him as he doesn't want to have a repeat of what he just had with Hodgson. This is quite a battle we have. It's almost like one of those World War II dogfights.
How much stuff did Murray use trying to fight that 12? How much can he defend on Rogers here with just over 30 laps to go here in the second stage? Obviously, the longest run that these guys have seen throughout the course of this race. These tires are all in uncharted territory. Not even throughout practice have you had the chance to get this type of longevity on your tires. As now you see Sean Rogers working his way back to the inside of Alex Murray. Can he get the job done through turns 1 and 2? Slides up a little bit, but that top side looking pretty strong. Oh,
Murray
no,
rubs the wall again. He rubs the wall again. That opens the door for Rogers now to dive right underneath him. And that'll put Rogers into P3 and edge him even closer now to the race leader. Now Murray taking that deep run into the dog leg to see if he can swing the double deuce back out with all of that momentum, and he does.
Trying to make slider.
And, they're going to make,
Could not make contact. He tried to put the slide job down, could not get clear, had to slam on the brakes, but he wasn't able to stay low enough to keep the 33 from reacting. These guys stay side by side, coming up off the final corner, almost a little bit of contact. Murray back down to the bottom. Not quite able to stay there, though. Put Sean Rogers into third place.
All of a sudden, Alex Murray just is having himself a connection issue. He's disconnected from the server, looking for him. I don't see him coming back yet. Oh, no. Alex Murray dropping through the standings.
Yeah, manually disconnected.
Did he show up as manually disconnected?
Yep.
Oh, my. Well, Liam.
Heartbreaker for another one of our championship drivers.
And then there were two.
As we approach the end of stage number 2, there are only 2 left to race for a championship. Jacob Schneider and Sean Rogers. As we have just 26 laps to go here in stage number 2. Just past halfway here in the Stacy Strong Cup Series, Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series Championship Week.
Wow. What a change of wind direction, if you will, as Alex Murray goes on the hauler after having connection issues. He blinked out, and then he just absolutely disappeared, as it must have been a throughput issue with his connection. And, folks, we'll get into that shortly, but the story right now becomes Nolan Hodgson. He is a rose between two thorns right now, who want to tangle desperately, as he is between Jacob Schneider and Sean Rogers. Now, interestingly enough, he's got about 4 seconds up to Schneider and just about a full second back to Rogers, as Rogers had basically beaten up so much time fighting it out with Alex Murray, who now as drivers are starting to get around him as far as lap counting goes. That's going to move Randall Watkins into the top 10. Of course, the Miami, Florida native in the Miami Fire and Rescue Ford Mustang. down a couple of laps, but still not going to be swayed any sort of way, as that's going to move him into the top 10. Ken Ron going to dive up here into 9th position with just 5 cars left here on the lead lap.
That thing starting to filter out. Cream rising to the top, kind of like it did last week, but a lot less attrition here. These guys coming up off we watched Jacob Schneider coming up off of 2 there, a little bit sideways, but overall that car handling as well as he needs it to. He's got 4 seconds over second place Nolan Hodgson.
Jacob Schneider, your race leader, followed by Nolan Hodgson in the number 12, running in P2. Sean Rogers in the 44, running in 3rd. Tanner Marty in 4th, and Ron Fitting in that it's basically this paint scheme color that he has chosen harkens back to City Chevrolet and Days of Thunder, so good for him as the top 5 out here running strong yet. Chris Claude running in 7th position, just ahead of Rafael Rodriguez, Ken Ron, and now Randall Watkins in your top 10. So it's going to be a strong finish for some of these drivers who weren't expecting to make much hay coming into championship weekend. This is going to make a lot of these guys kind of focus on next year and see what they have left in the tank. You know, these remaining, couple hundred, well, let's see, just less than a couple hundred laps. But, I want to thank everybody for riding along with us all season long here on Sim Racing Media. Of course, Amanda Price cheering on Sean Rogers in the 44. Deb Harris has been with us, as my usual line is, every step of the way. She's hung out with, Tony and Matt most of the season, then came along with myself and Jonathan, and now you and Emily, who have filled in. And I'm just so glad to see this league doing as well as it has, because I'll tell you what, I mean, it's a long season. They're 100% races. It's a full season too. Whatever Sunday, the regular Cup season's running, we're running, and that's 41 total weeks. Like, that's a long time, Liam.
Yeah, it really is. It is a major commitment for these drivers, and we can't thank them enough for coming out here and doing what they do each and every week. And, obviously the league shares the same sentiment. It's so cool to see these guys come out here and replicate what NASCAR does week in and week out. Sometimes they even put out a better show than the Cup Series does. I tell you what, Dave, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as I've been associated with this league, they've been here with Sim Racing Media. Of course, Monday nights used to be part of the Independence Racing Network, which was my little baby pet project, and then finally got them to come over here to SRM. And, here's the thing. You and I have seen a lot of leagues come and go, but there are 2 leagues here with SRM that have managed to stay it out the entire way, and it's been SNN and the Western States Racing League.
Sorry there, Dave. I was having a little bit of a technical difficulty. It looks like things are starting to heat up for second place with Sean Rogers and Nolan Hodgson. These guys have just over half a second separating them. Tell you what, Sean Rogers' machine is going to be trying over the course of these last 15 laps in this stage to get closer and closer to what will be, or what is now, his final championship competitor, Jacob Schneider.
Right now, what Sean Rogers has to be hoping for is a caution flag. Get himself bunched back up with Schneider, and then let those 2 just go at it like a couple of cats in a wet burlap sack.
But you got a caution flag coming in about 15 laps at the end of stage 2, so could that be what he needs, or does he need maybe something for cause?
He's going to need something late. I mean, right now, Schneider has proven that he's got the long-run speed. He can save tires. He can get through these long green flag runs. And don't get me wrong, folks. We like seeing long green flag runs in this league, especially after what Liam and I experienced and you folks at home experienced last week. This is something that we enjoy every week. And even here, 114 of you checking in with us tonight. Just glad to have all of you along. Kaylee Schneider cheering on Jacob. here in the O2. Hey, Kaylee, thanks for joining us in the youtube.com live chat as Liam and I bringing you all of the action. You know, this particular racetrack to me is just interesting. I mean, I look at all of the different series that race here. IndyCar, Indy Lights, Cup Series, Xfinity and Trucks, ARCA Menards West, Kart, and USAC. I mean, what does this track not host is probably the more appropriate question.
I couldn't tell you, man. These guys have everything here. They've got an infield road course that they've got cars running at. They've got a go-kart track here. Not to mention, you could have yourself an absolute blast mountain biking just about 3/4 of a mile away from this racetrack. Mountain bike yourself up to the best seat in the house. Sit up on top of that mountain just outside of what is now turns 1 and 2.
I would be looking for a pack mule to take me up there. I'm not riding a bike up there.
I'm riding a bike.
No. I'll have to find something because my fat ass is not going up that hill. No, thank you. I mean, let's face it. I got out of breath walking on the beach.
Yeah, but you still threw a perfect spiral.
Yeah, after I figured out how to throw that darn thing. I mean, you know. To be fair, there was alcohol in my blood. Actually, it was more like there was blood in my alcohol at that point.
Well, when in Rome, they say.
Oh, and I did as the Romans do. I'll tell you what, you know, and it's exciting because you and I got to experience it together. There is nothing better, folks, than seeing what iRacing is really supposed to be about when, you know, basically 8 people from different corners of the country are all able to come together literally under one roof for several days, you know, after experiencing one another through the digital universe and coming together in the real world. I mean, what an experience that was to go to Miami. And, you know, you and I were talking during the commercial break about doing a Pocono run, of course, maybe this coming season. You know, that's what iRacing is supposed to do. It's supposed to create community.
Yeah, and that's absolutely what it did here at Sim Racing Media and here at the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. I mean, the Stacey Strong Cup Series has had a lot of the same players through throughout the course of these last couple of years. We talk about, obviously, Chris Klott. It's a guy who runs the show. Ryan Samuelson, he's been here a long time. Alex Murray is also another driver who's stuck around here for quite some time. And Ryan Tarnowski is he's given us plenty of years. iRacing, like you said, Dave, is so good at creating these communities, getting people who maybe have never gotten a chance to get together, giving them the chance to connect over our favorite thing, which is auto racing. No matter which type you like, whether you like oval racing, road racing, dirt racing, it's all here, and it's all here for us to get together and enjoy our company and try to go out here and be the best.
Absolutely.
So
I mean,
I have to do here with just about 6 laps to go here in stage number 2.
absolutely. And to your point, you know, I've said to John Wilco before, you know, from McAdoo, Pennsylvania, he's only actually we stand a pretty good chance if we go to Pocono to hang out with him, as he lives not too far back, about a half an hour away from Pocono Raceway. But you know, in this league, there's a weird amount of Pennsylvanians in it. Of course, John Wilco, Ken Ron. So I've got a good chance at meeting some of them, and I kindly rib Brian Tarnowski the next time I'm in Waukesha, Wisconsin, that I got to swing by, because I mean, there are some really good people in this league, and you know, Brian Tarnowski is among the best of the best in my opinion, and unfortunately not out on track as he's put it on the hauler for the night. But Brian has graciously agreed to help the sponsorship for next season and has signed on for another year with Sim Racing Media for the Cup Series. So we do want to tip our cap and thank him. And without Brian, we also wouldn't have our title sponsor, the Stacey Strong Cup Series, brought to you by Trisha's Hope, which, of course, as you had seen during our commercial ads, a nonprofit organization helping the families of cancer battlers and survivors throughout the country. So just a big thank you to Brian Tarnowski, and of course, you know, the husband of his late wife, Stacy, whose name is emblazoned everywhere here in the SNN Cup Series. And I had a chance to cross paths with her before her passing, and just what a great couple and what a great guy Brian is.
Yeah, Brian's a great guy. I never had the chance to have that type of conversation, but absolutely a strong family there, and them all of our support here.
I mean, I'll take you through that real quick. I mean, when things were starting to really go sideways with Stacy, the first person here at SRM to reach out and say we have to do something, of course, was Tony Trapasso, and it was actually one of the first times that we had a 4-man broadcast booth, as the iRacing community just poured over the wall like a pit crew to help, get some traction there under the Tarnowskis. And I cannot be more proud of what this organization at Sim Racing Media and what this organization on the racetrack, Sunday Night NASCAR, did for that family. And as I say that, we're just about a lap and a half away from the conclusion of stage number 2. Jacob Schneider leading us back across the start-finish line. So one more lap to go now here in stage 2, as it's Schneider, Hodgson, and Rogers with Tanner Marty in tow, your top 4. They're the only 4 cars on the lead lap, as Jacob Schneider has once again ran an absolute clinic here in Cup Series action. He comes down the backstretch, gunning for turn 3. As he dives into 3, he's got the 62 of John Wilco just ahead of him, but he's not going to get Wilco this time. As he crosses the start-finish line, the caution flag will fly, and that will solidify his stage 2 win here, as it's Schneider, Hodgson, Rogers, Marty, Fitting, Wilco, Claude, Rodriguez, Ron, and Randall Watkins rounding out your top 10 here at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, phenomenal run here out of Jacob Schneider. Pulled out to almost a 6-second lead here before that caution came out. That's got to feel good when you've only got one championship competitor left that you're racing with. He's still got a car between him and you. So Jacob Schneider takes the win on stage number 2. The points don't really matter for his situation, but always feels good to come across and get a green and white checker.
It's funny you should say that the points don't matter. It's almost like whose line is it anyway from back there in the early 2000s. The points don't matter. As Jacob, that's true.
Do, however.
Is Jacob Schneider going to lead us down pit road? We'll see if we can get a hold of him here. And I'm in the wrong Discord channel. Of course I am. Why not?
It's all right. Give him a moment until he gets his pit stop done, and then I'll make sure we get Jacob Schneider up into here.
He is down there in the waiting room. He was sitting alone up there in his chat. Everybody kind of giving Schneider some room tonight here on lap 188, as he's going to come in for some 4 Mr. Feelgoods and a tank of Go Fast.
That's all right. We'll go ahead and see if he's able to get out front. Fun fact, that number 90 car. Oh, jeez. Never mind. 90 car. Oh, my test drive car confused me. I saw a Sim Racing Media car. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and bring Jacob Schneider up into the booth here. Jacob, it's Dave and Liam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Copy.
Well, I tell you what, you were dominant there throughout the course of stage number 2. You took the lead, never looked back. How you feeling about that car and the battle with Sean Rogers behind you?
Yeah, I guess he's the last one left. The rest of them is just down to the 2 of us. Not sure what happened to Alex, but yeah, hopefully we can put on a good show for everybody.
Yeah, Jacob, it's Dave up here. I'll tell you what, you ran a clinic here in stage 2. Obviously, everything that you talked about, having, the ability to save tires and use that long run speed that you had, not one lick of sarcasm there for sure. What are you thinking about now going into what looks like it's going to be just over 120 laps to go?
Yeah, I guess there won't be as much tire saving if you split this in half. It's just 2 60-lap runs, and that's the way I look at it. I probably go a little bit harder right off the gate.
Yeah, you're going to have to put some distance between yourself and Rogers, with Hodgson in your way. What's going to be the secret to getting around Hodgson, letting him burn it up, or trying to put as much distance between you and Rogers?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be too worried about Nolan there. It's just between me and Rogers, and Nolan can win if he wants. We'll just see how it plays out with him.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the Stage 2 win, and I'm sure we'll be talking at the end of this piece.
I sure hope so.
All right, we're going to slide him on back up here into his... You were in field filler, correct?
Hodgson holds out of the race lead as the pace car makes the hard left turn back into the pit lane. These guys have to wait just under half a lap to take the green. We talk about it a lot. It's going to be almost as annoying as the Talladega start-finish line isn't in the tri-oval. These guys have a long wait before the green flag comes out.
10 cars left here on the track as Hodgson brings us into turn number 3. He enters the Geico restart zone, hits the loud pedal, and we're back underway. Stage 3 and the final stage of the 2023 Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series Championship season.
And that 33, Sean Rogers, all over the back bumper for second place, but Schneider gets in deep, gets away strong. We saw how close the Alex Murray machine was able to stay at the beginning part of this run last time around. How is the 0-2 going to be able to hold on? How is the 12 going to be able to deal with these guys racing for a championship behind them?
Well, you know what? At this point, if I was Nolan Hodgson, I'm going to run my race and let those two guys duke it out behind me. He's maybe going to have a Ross Chastain kind of night where next season, as we open up in Daytona in February, we're going to say, wait, who did win that last race of the season?
Well, he might not get talked about, but he's out here trying for a race win. Go out here and win the race. That's a good thing to do, especially when you've got championship competitors. We've got a problem with John Wilco.
Seeing what happened with John Wilco here, the blue and white number 62 right in the middle of your screen. He's just behind Ken Ron here on what was lap 191. As they come down the backstretch, I don't understand that. Everybody coming out of 2 tonight has just somehow the car over-rotates and drags them to that inside wall. That's the third car we've seen do that tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. If it's just the line that these guys are running through that dogleg, the tri-oval, but something is upsetting those cars. It's almost reminiscent of Daytona way back in the day where those guys would just come up off the corner, the car would get sideways. No saving.
No, in fact, that happened in the SNN Truck Series. It was a Tuesday at Talladega coming out of 2, where Barrett Coffey had come out of 2, hit the backstretch, and the car just came around and collected most of the field. It was the wildest night ever. The worst part is yours truly was a couple of laps down trying to stay out of the way and got collected into it. And what a mess that Daytona and Talladega used to be coming out of 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider yourself lucky if you don't consider a mess anymore.
Well, I don't consider it a mess now because I'm safely ensconced inside the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth.
Yeah, that is true. We are in a nice, glorious box up there with protection from our friend. We get to stay away from all that calamity and chaos and get to watch a battle like Jacob Schneider trying to take on Nolan Hodgson for the race lead. Couple of car lengths up off of him, getting down into turns 1 and 2. I tell you what, Dave, he's been getting closer and closer, even if just by inches these last few laps.
Without a doubt, as Schneider chases Hodgson down the backstretch, want a quick recap where we're at with drivers on the lead lap. 5 cars on the lead lap. John Wilco would be your lucky dog if we have a caution come out now. Chris Claude down 3. Rafael Rodriguez down 4, Ken Ron down 6, as well as Randall Watkins. So still a little bit of a glimmer of hope for Chris Claude, John Wilco for sure getting back onto the lead lap. But, you know, for a lot of these drivers, this is a matter of finishing it out and having the pride to be here when the checkered flag flies.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You want to finish all 312 laps of the series finale, or season finale, rather. And, these guys are all out here racing for different things as you've got the battle for the lead heating up once again. Schneider went down to the inside of the 12, but didn't quite have enough momentum coming up off of turn number 2. And Sean Rogers in the 33 is loving this view. Watching these guys start to race each other hard, potentially just chilling on his tires, waiting for the chance to pounce, waiting for the halfway point to make the pit stop. He's not pushing anything super hard right now. Got to be a good view when those guys are racing side by side.
Absolutely, as we just crossed for lap 200, so 112 to the end now. Going to ride along here with Jacob Schneider on the nose of the O2 as he's going to be following right behind Nolan Hodgson. He slams it down here onto the apron and the dog leg, and he's desperately trying to catch up here to the 12, maybe a little bit of draft help as he draws closer and closer to the rear bumper of Nolan Hodgson. Schneider swinging out of 4, crossing just in front of the cactus here, trying to get once again closer and closer to Nolan Hodgson. He gets a good run on him here in the entrance to turn 1, but just not enough here. As we look from the rear of Hodgson now, we can see exactly what it's going to look like from the rear of the 12.
Yeah, right up on the rear bumper here, you can see the Schneider machine trying a little bit lower of a line to the exit. Might have touched the wall just a little bit there coming up off of turn 4. Doesn't seem to hurt the car. He's going to dive it in deep there, get super close throughout the middle, but the outside, or not the outside, the exit the corner is going to go in favor of your race leader right now. Trying to inch his way closer though. Jacob Schneider is in the 0-2. John Rogers, you see him just further behind. Go ahead and ride on board with him as he watches these guys try to duke it out. You've got to think though, Sean is saving his stuff. He's hoping for a longer run. He knows a longer run might be coming. Save your stuff towards the end of the run. Start pushing then, and then get him on pit stops.
Yeah, the Kalamazoo, Michigan native holding a steady distance just behind Schneider. He hasn't really fallen back, and he hasn't really gained any ground on Schneider as we've entered stage number 3 here on lap 205 now. So he's obviously going to try to be keeping it consistent as he shifts up into 5th. As that fifth gear run just barely enough to get you over that rev limiter.
Just barely. You'll see some of these guys staying in 4th gear down this back straightaway. Get close to that. Some of those guys hitting the red line seems to be the way to go here. You don't want to shift up and lose that speed. Down the front straightaway though, well, we ride along with Schneider. He stays in 4th gear the whole time there and dives it down to the inside. Not quite enough grip there
Hodgson.
on the middle.
Hodgson throwing the block hot and heavy here. He knows that his lead is in jeopardy, but he's not ready to give that lead up just yet.
No, he's out here to win a race. He doesn't care about a championship battle. He's sitting here looking at this driver behind him as a competitor. Nothing more, nothing less. Says this is somebody I need to beat.
Taking a look here from the blimp cam, that distance, we're going to see that distance. It's almost like an accordion. And for you folks that aren't familiar with what an accordion is, it's polka music, that's for sure. But as we roll out of turn 4 and cross the start-finish line, we're going to see...
Got a really good 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, Schneider is starting to really close in here on 1 and 2, almost taking the apron below the yellow line coming out of 2. Maybe getting ready to do a little polka dance here around Hodgson.
Last time around, the Sean Rogers machine was a little bit quicker, so we'll see if that continues to be the case as these guys are approaching 30 laps on their tires, about 25 at this point. getting to the halfway point in this run. You would imagine these guys are going to try to split this final stage right around the halfway point, so about 60, 65 laps on either side of the stage.
Everybody on the same pit cycle, too, as we see this top 5 pit strategy. Everybody coming in after 62 laps, 52 laps, 73, and now 22. And Hodgson, of course, one of our biggest movers of the night, alongside of John Wilco. John Wilco, of course, up 10 positions, but still down a lap. But Hodgson up 6 from where he had qualified tonight, back in 7th. So big mover here in our top 10, as well as Ron Fitting up 9. So that pit strategy obviously paying off for some of these drivers who've clearly been making some adjustments.
Yeah, adjustments are definitely necessary when you saw how strong that 0-2 car was from the jump of the gun.
Track temperature also clearing off.
Oh, that too. As the sun goes down, the track temperature starts to fall down. What are we sitting at right now, Dave?
84 degrees on the asphalt right now. Still 75 in the stands, but obviously some shade here. We can see that coming through turn 3 and 4, as 3 and 4 are definitely in the shade.
Now 5 degrees down from our max. Dave pointed out earlier on in the show that we got up to 89 degrees after starting at 87. Later on in the day, though, we fall down to 84. That's going to give these tires just a little bit more to grasp onto as these guys work through the final 100 laps of this race. Just 100 miles left in the Sunday Night NASCAR Stacey Strong Cup Series season.
And with that, we're going to step aside once again and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. Dave Riegel and Liam Ervig with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the 2023 season.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D Cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. As like during the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything. I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Imagine a theater experience so real you're part of the action. Breakthrough technology that shakes your seat at precisely the right moment so you can feel the action on the screen. Choose 4D cinemas powered by Butt Kicker for the ultimate theater experience. And for the ultimate in movies, gaming, and sports at home, add your own Butt Kicker. A simple, wireless, affordable device that takes just seconds to install. Text the word on the screen right now to receive a special offer. Get Butt Kicker and feel what you've been missing.
We've seen some fantastic battling throughout the course of that ad break. Man, I tell you what, I wish they could have ended sooner. Not to say anything bad about our partners. We appreciate everybody who's helping us out here on Sim Racing Media, but that was incredible racing we got to see on the side-by-side. Sean Rogers works his way up into P2, and now he's just 3 seconds behind the race leader and championship leader, Jacob Schneider. Can he work his way back up to the race lead? We're going to find out. These guys still have a pit stop to go and probably 15 laps. See what happened here as the 12 car leaning on the 33 down on the inside. Saw the reverse of that for multiple laps, but after the 33 got up to the top side, the 12 tries to get up and lean on him like the 33 did him. Coming up off of turn number 2, though, it's just a little bit too much. 12, Nolan Hodgson gets sideways. Excellent save there to keep him in 3rd place. Going to put Sean Rogers up into 2nd. He's been quicker these last couple of laps than a race leader, Jacob Schneider. Jacob Schneider holding on to the race lead, though. He's had himself a phenomenal day. He won himself stage number 2. He's got himself a couple of cars between him and 2nd place. Those lap down cars include Chris Claude and I believe the 3 of Ron Fitting. So strong run so far here out of Jacob Schneider.
Ron Fitting down just 1 lap right now on the scoring line, but Chris Claude down about 3. Just 4 cars left on the lead lap, so 1 more than we had left altogether last week. As Ron Fitting down 1, Chris Claude down 4, as well as John Wilco. John Wilco just came off of pit road as he came in, splitting this stage 3 into 2 stops. Jacob Schneider, I have to start to believe, is going to consider staying out until that gas runs dry in the fuel cell. As he, Rogers, Hodgson, and Marty, all with 51 laps on these tires.
Yeah, we're starting to get into the beginning of the window, right? Obviously, you want to split this into 2 to try to maximize the freshness of your tires. But if you want to shorten it, where you can get into starting to make it here in the Sunday night NASCAR Stacy Strong Cup Series League, the way that they've got these fuel cells set up, this is about where that window opens. Not sure anybody's going to take it at this moment, but tell you what, expect these guys probably to come in within the next 10 to 15 laps, around 250, 255. Get themselves a 55 to 60 lap run on their final set of tires. Interesting though. We'll see with Jacob Schneider increasing that gap up to 3.3 seconds of a race lead over Sean Rogers.
Peeking in on the youtube.com live chat, want to thank everybody for checking in with us. Make sure we say thank you to Kaylee Schneider and Amanda Price cheering on their significant others here. Of course, Jeremiah Mullins cheering on all of the drivers. Deb Harris, always there in Brandon Edstrom's corner. Of course, that's Brandon's mom, as he has bowed out tonight. So obviously we've lost her for the evening, or at least it seems like we have. Not sure if she's still watching, but right now 11 cars left here on the racetrack. Mark Johnston, the furthest back right now, is at this point you're out here just to make sure that you're there when the checkered flag waves for the end of the season. We, of course, look forward to next season, as we'll be back for another clash at the Coliseum in February. So not a very long off season for this league, Liam, after 41 races here on SRM. And I'll tell you what, that's pretty much the same for real life too. I mean, of course, the NASCAR Top 3 Series ending today with of course, championship weekend at Phoenix, and now we look forward to another West Coast trip out there for the Coliseum. At this point, it's going to go on my bucket list. I would love to go out there to the Coliseum and see those drivers compete at the Clash.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something to show up to an all-time classic, a legendary football stadium there in Los Angeles.
Football, baseball, and track.
Everything. It's held in the Olympics. It's what a historic facility. As the caution has come out, the caution is out. I believe John Wilco has had himself an issue here to bring out the caution with just about 65 laps to go. Let's see what happened to Wilco here, getting down into turns 3 and 4. Right around championship contender Sean Rogers.
Wilco came out of 4 and
Hit the transition, came back up, smacked the wall really hard.
He, of course, quickly hits the tow button to get the 62 back onto pit road. But unfortunately, the damage is done. So that's going to be beneficial for these top 4 drivers that were just sitting here counting laps on their fingers and toes to figure out whether or not they were going to come down pit road in 5 laps or 15. So this makes the decision that much easier for them as Schneider and Rogers, who are the last 2 championship driver contenders atop the pile. They're followed down pit road by lead lap car Nolan Hodgson and Tanner Marty. Ron Fitting going to get his lap back, the lucky dog, as it will be. And we're going to have to see if Chris Claude chooses to stay out here as well as Randall Watkins.
The interesting thing about this pit stop, too, is Sean Rogers gets pulled right up to the back bumper of Jacob Schneider as they come up into this pit stop. It's not like he was 3.5 seconds back like he was under the green flag condition. It's going to be tough for the Sean Rogers machine to beat the 0-2, but right now as they come up off the pit lane, 0-2 out front, 33, then 12. I tell you what, man, this front row with 2 championship contenders, it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's going to be like an electric fence to keep Nolan Hodgson out, as those 2 drivers going to obviously be dueling it out coming back to the green flag in a couple of pace laps from now. Tanner Marty coming down pit road. Chris Claude, part of this little 4-car contingent of Rafael Rodriguez and Kenny Ron. And I'll tell you what.
Take his waiver out. Maybe doesn't think we're going to see much more in terms of yellow.
Which is entirely possible, from this stage to the end. I mean, these drivers have driven incredibly safe tonight overall. In fact, I'm not sure, but I think this is only the 3rd caution for cause, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. We had the Ryan Samuelson incident. We had this one. And,
yep.
I'm always
3rd caution for cause.
Well, we'll find out what happens throughout the course of the last 62 laps, I believe we'll get when we get the green flag.
Ken Ron staying out.
Ken Ron staying.
Ron last came down on lap 230, so he can afford to stay out as everybody else came in, so he'll get a lap back. And you get a lap back, and you get a lap back. It's like Oprah came to Phoenix.
Well, he has 7 laps down, trying to get closer and closer to the front. He knows he's not in contention to win, but when a guy like John Wilco goes out of the race, that's just more and more spots that you can get. Why take the tires now if you know you don't need them? May as well just try to keep it on, get closer and closer to that lead lap. You get ready for a restart once again.
Want to quick take a ride here with Ken Ron and just show you folks how tough it is to get all the way back around here and basically linked back up with the rest of the field, especially when there are so few drivers left. He's all but at race speed, pretty much warming those tires up early, if you will, as he still has to pick up here as they're just coming into turn 2. He's only just coming out of 4. I'm sorry, into 3.
Now he's got to start checking up. Jacob Schneider holds out of the race lead over Sean Rogers, Nolan Hodgson, Tanner Marty, Ron Fitting, Chris Claude, Rafael Rodriguez, Ken Ron, and John Wilco, Randall Watkins round out the top 10. But we have only 5 drivers on the lead lap right now. Green flag comes out. Schneider with a monstrous restart there, and 12 is going to be able to get second place very easily.
just as they took the green flag, Ken Rom was able to catch up with the rest of the field. Schneider going to easily walk away with now a half-second lead over Hodgson and Rogers. And Rogers kind of looking on here, trying to figure out how he's going to make his way around Hodgson, who has, like I had said earlier, just kind of put himself as a rose between two thorns in that red number 12. As we come down the back chute, the 44 of Sean Rogers looking for any kind of an edge. He desperately wants to get up there and duel it out with Jacob Schneider mano-a-mano for this championship.
Yeah, that 44 machine has been strong throughout the late half of this race, but right now he's got one car in between him and a championship, and that is the 12 machine of Nolan Hodgson. He's got to try to make this pass as quick as he possibly can and get back into the long game with the 0-2 of Jacob Schneider.
Keeping a close eye here on the 44 closing in now on Nolan Hodgson. We'll see if we can maybe pull up right here on the nose of the 44 as they're nearly going to make contact rolling out of turn 4 back toward the cactus.
Almost, but not quite. These guys racing their guts out right now with just under 60 laps to go, 60 miles to go in the season finale here for the Stacey Strong Cup Series. These guys know what's on the line in terms of championship. Everybody in contention wants to take the final checkered flag of the season. There's nothing that can replace that.
Without a doubt. And, you know, here in the closing laps of the 2023 season, I cannot be more thankful and gratuitous enough to those who have tuned in this season. Of course, we started off as the Davis Brothers Roofing Cup Series and had to transition to the Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. Of course, brought to you by Trisha's Hope and of course, the support from Brian Tarnowski, who unfortunately is on the hauler for the evening. But, you know, this league and here in their finale has put on quite a season all year here in 2023. So I hope that all of you will consider coming back for 2024 as viewers or maybe even participants. You can always reach out to us on Discord and get some details on how you can be one of these drivers on the racetrack. And believe you me, we're always more than happy to see new faces here on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, if you have any interest in coming up in here and broadcasting so I can be one of these new faces on the track, you can also find us on Discord for that. We've got plenty of openings. We can get you trained in for commentary, even producing. We'd love to add to the Sim Racing Media family, and we'd love to have your smiling faces with us. Right
You
now,
know-
we've got a fantastic. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
To your point, you know, there's always opportunities here at Sim Racing Media. You don't always have to be on air. You can always work in the back room, if you will, you know, but we would love to have some new voices and faces on the air. Of course, you know, we lost a huge piece of our team this year, and Tony was working sometimes 6 nights a week, and we've all kind of had to scramble, and we're, of course, still looking for new talent. And believe me, even if you're a little nervous at first, you know, there are some people here at Sim Racing Media who start out, you know, a little bit nervous or not sure of themselves, but you get comfortable here in the broadcast booth.
Absolutely do. And like I said, we kind of talked about Sunday Night NASCAR was the first league I ever got to call with the Sim Racing Media group. And I was with the guy, James Riles, who was absolutely incredible in terms of teaching me what I needed to know. And then, of course, you get up into a booth with Tony Trapasso, and he really teaches you how to work with somebody else. And
Tony taught the art of verbal tennis.
yeah, he certainly did. You know, you hand it back to one guy, and he just slaps it right back to you. Like it's casual conversation.
Yeah, we managed to master that, and there were some nights where all of a sudden, you know, we'd have 500 laps that we'd be covering, or, you know, a 4-hour race, and it didn't feel that way. And that's something that you do learn that you'll pick up here at Sim Racing Media. You know, we have a great training program. You know, you'll come along with one of our more experienced producers or commentators and learn the art. And it's not hard. It's certainly not rocket science, especially if somebody like me can learn it and figure it out. And, you know, you can absolutely grow and develop and find yourself new opportunities. In fact, some of us here at Sim Racing Media, you know, have made the cross into real terrestrial radio, real play-by-play in the real world. Of course, then it's the other way around, where we've got one fellow who he works for a Major League Baseball team by day and does this at night.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know it. So we even had a guy that he worked with us, and now he's trying to work on his own deal. And again, we don't condone that. If you want to work with us, we'd like you to stay with us, but we're not going to hate on you. You know, whatever you want to do with your broadcasting type of career, Racing Media is a really good place to start.
And once a year, we take a big team trip.
Oh, that too. That's pretty great.
I feel like that's a really good sales hook.
Oh, yeah. So if you do, here's how it goes. If you do 6 shows, that pays for your iRacing for a year. And if you do shows with us, be involved in our end-of-year homestead trip down to Miami, Florida. There's a big sell.
I mean, there's no better. Listen, it's almost like at this point, I snorted a whole lot of Miami in 5.5 days, and now I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was not happy to come home on Tuesday and have snow on the ground before I went to sleep that night.
Yeah, you and Mike DeMoney both had snow on the ground when you got home. I at least got a couple more days of being able to wear shorts to work.
Don't get me wrong, it was about to get back today, so it wasn't awful. Still, you go to a place like Miami, you are really not ready for winter if you live in a place like Minnesota.
No, it kind of mind screws you.
It definitely does. But we've got ourselves this battle for second place. Really hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. Sean Rogers is trying to figure out a way around Nolan Hodgson to get closer and closer to Jacob Schneider. Schneider out front of this too by about 1.3 seconds. Is not really gaining a whole heck of a lot on Schneider. As a matter of fact, Schneider was quicker that last time by about a tenth. Half a tenth, and the fastest car on the racetrack was actually the 12th by about half a tenth. While we have a moment, though, I've been doing a whole heck of a lot of talking, but I'm gonna bring up a little bit of personal stuff. You guys got some prayers to give. Just do a little bit of a prayer for Annabelle. My niece has been a fighter since she was born on June 30th. And she's in need of a heart transplant. Been hooked up to a lot of medical stuff for a while, but my brother and his wife got to hold their baby for the first time in 5 weeks yesterday. And things are looking up. I'm so happy about it. I have to bring it here. Things are looking up. So, I just want to give a shout out to Luke and Sydney. You guys have been incredible fighters. Annabelle too. Nothing more but fighting in her genes. It's good to see them being happy, to see these gains being made in terms of getting in that home state. I'm very happy about that, and appreciate just being able to have a moment to speak that to the universe.
Absolutely, and this is definitely the platform to use for that. I mean, I will absolutely make sure that she is in our prayers, and there are so many kids out there who are in need of medical attention, and unfortunately, especially with a heart transplant, that's obviously the hardest transplant to try to ascertain, because unfortunately when you get a heart transplant, it's because somebody's not using theirs anymore. So it's incredibly difficult to be praying for that donor heart, but at the same time, that somebody else is without it. And folks, for those of us that are out there that are parents, count your lucky stars when your kids come out with 5 fingers, with 10 fingers, 10 toes, and are basically healthy, because for every one child that's born with no defects, there's always 2 more that have issues that we need to be praying for, that we need to be lifting up these parents and these families like Liam's, and holding them closer. And this kind of community on iRacing is designed for that. So Liam, I will absolutely keep Annabelle in our prayers.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't mean to drag down the vibe of this race, as Sean Rogers is continuing to try to chase down Nolan Hodgson. Man, I don't know how to do this thing. It's an
The
awkward
clutch is clutch is that pedal on the left.
Oh, I can drive, but no, it's a fun battle we got going on here, but it's just one of those deals that you don't know how to deal with until you're in it, and then you just do your best to support those that are around you who are struggling with it. And it's similar to the sponsor of our Cup Series, the Stacy Strong Cup Series. It's yet another. There's the clutch. Yep. It's yet another a big situation where we've got this community rallying around and supporting one of our own, and it just goes to show A, how great this community is, and B, how good this battle is for second.
Absolutely, and I'm proud of you now. And here's the thing, folks. In this neck of the woods, we're drawing people. Let's just take a look at some of the places where we're all coming from. Of course, Nolan Hodgson from Lamar's, Iowa. Greenville, South Carolina, the hometown of Jacob Schneider. Sean Rogers out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Tanner Marty out of Duvall, Washington. And Ron Fitting from Sumter, South Carolina. That's just your top 5, as well as Fairview, Tennessee's very own Chris Claude. Rafael Rodriguez from Brazil. Myself from Philadelphia. Of course, Liam from out in Minnesota. Here's the thing. This entire community is stretched across this great nation of ours. And, the fact that we're able to come together under one roof is a miracle in and of itself. Really, it's like a technological miracle, if you will.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It just goes to show how beautiful the iRacing community is. I mean, we've got so many different types of leagues and different stuff going on. But we've even got the Sunday night NASCAR crew bringing the Stacy Strong Cup Series for 36 points races, like you mentioned, 41 weeks throughout the course of the year, involving our Clash, our All-Star race. You get the duels, and maybe a couple of off weeks up in there. But these guys are committed. These guys are absolutely putting on a show. It's definitely a lot of fun to be a part of.
Taking a look elsewhere at the world in sports, as we're working lap 279 of 312. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are leading the Buffalo Bills 21-7 at halftime. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins 21-14. Your Minnesota Vikings best the Falcons 31-28 in Hotlanta.
Yeah,
the Cardinals.
That was a tough one. That looked like a Thursday night game. It was kind of sloppy.
It did. It very much did. Oddly enough, and of course, the Chiefs game was in Frankfurt, which I'm kind of excited about. Take it to the Germans. Of course, the Cardinals were blanked by the Browns in Cleveland today. The Rams were trampled by the Packers 20-3. The Commanders beat the Patriots 20-17. I imagine that Bill Belichick cannot be happy at 2-7. And the Bears lose to the Saints. The Ravens beat the Seahawks 37-3. The Texans shoot it out with the Buccaneers 39-37. Colts beat the Panthers. Raiders best the Giants 30-6. The Cowboys fall to the Eagles 28-23. And of course, Thursday's game was the Steelers over the Titans 20-16. A lot of big games, but tomorrow night, of course, they were anticipating a certain quarterback, if you will, to be gracing the field tomorrow night with Joe Buck and the Hall of Famer Troy Kenneth Aikman. On Monday Night Football, the Jets are going to be hosting the Los Angeles Chargers in the Meadowlands. So A big night, of course, in Major League. In the National Football League. Of course, Major League Baseball season is over, and quite frankly, good riddance.
Yeah, good job for Texas, though.
Yeah, sure, great for him. Just
First
happy
time they've
day.
ever,
One of the
first
lowest.
time they've ever taken the World Series title.
I mean,
in, what was
I'm
that,
happy
60
for them about
years of
that.
existence. So that is one of the longest streaks we've seen snap since 2016. When obviously the Cubs broke the longest streak in sports history.
108 years.
There will never be another 108-year drought,
You-
unless you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, but we drink to forget that.
Well,
You're never
everybody
gonna
needs a
see
hobby.
That type of drought.
Everybody needs a hobby. You know, I mean, you really can't say never, because there are still certain teams in Major League Baseball that have not won a championship yet in their history in the towns that they're in. You know, and in fact, you know what? Let's just see. Let's see what this list is. With the Rangers winning their first ever title this year, the following 5 MLB organizations have never won the World Series: San Diego Padres, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Poor Frank.
Yeah, well, I mean, Frank just works for him. He's a Mets fan, which is even worse. The Tampa Bay Rays, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Colorado Rockies, and the Seattle Mariners. Now, as I'm looking at this, I believe the Brewers and the Padres are the teams that are in their towns for the longest. Colorado came in the 94 expansion season. Tampa Bay was late 90s, early 2000s in expansion, and Seattle was like late 60s, if I remember right. So the Padres and the Brewers definitely, I mean, we edge closer and closer every year to beating a record.
Yeah, but you're never going to hit 108.
Now I'm going to look something else up. Here we go.
I'd have more faith in Denny Hamlin winning a championship than something going 108 years.
Wow, that's cold. That's cold. Let's see. They've been in the league since '69. Bear with me, folks. I'm just trying to do some quick math.
While we let Dave do some math, give you a quick update on how we're running. Jacob Schneider has almost a 3-second lead over Nolan Hodgson in second. Sean Rogers has fallen back 1.7 seconds from Nolan, who's sitting in third. Tanner Marty, final car on the lead lap, sits in fourth place. He's 6 seconds off, and I say he's the final car on the lead lap because Ron Fitting is just about to go a lap down. 2-year race later, Jacob Schneider.
So basically, in another 30 years, if all things being equal, and I was right, the Padres and the Brewers both came into the league in 1969. So in another 30 years, if neither of those teams wins a World Series, they will be in Boston Red Sox territory.
Wow. How long did Boston go before the first one?
84.
84 years.
Or was it 86? Doesn't matter. It's a long friggin' time.
Yeah, it's almost as long as the Cubs.
That's true. 108 years. Let's see. Maybe it was 86 years. Let's see here.
Sure, but what I am sure of is we're approaching 20 laps to go here in the championship finale. 2.5 seconds separating your race lead. 60 car goes a bit wide there coming up off turn number 2. Been watching this number 12, I think.
It was 86 years. Sorry. So in another 32 years.
Well, gap for the race lead, not closing down quite enough to make it super exciting here, but we've got 20 laps to go and 3 seconds separating 1 and 2. 5 seconds separating the championship battle with 4 cars on the lead lap. finish out the Sunday Night NASCAR Stacy Strong Cup Series. Tell you what, Dave, this has been really Jacob Schneider's race to lose. Are we under yellow?
No, it was a graphic problem.
Graphic issue. That's had me confused. I didn't see the call, but I saw the graphic there. We are still under green. Green flag is out. We are still racing.
It's still a graphic problem. Go figure.
That's all right. We've got ourselves Jacob Schneider leading with 18 laps to go as they cross the line. Nolan Hodgson in second, Sean Rogers, Tanner Marty. Mark Johnston has come into the pits from 10th place. He's got 15 laps over over John Wilco behind him. Wilco also out of the race.
Yeah, just 9 cars
Nine
left.
drivers. Yep. Sorry.
I was going to say, just 9 cars left, rounded out by Randall Watkins, who's on a pretty good run tonight here in the top 10. Of course, Johnston going to be here rounding out the top 10. He still sits on pit road, but unfortunately has decided to put it on the hauler. So the worst that Watkins could finish tonight would be 9th. But with 17 to go here in the 2023 season, we just want to thank everybody once again here for joining us, making us a part of your Sunday evenings every Sunday night since February. And I cannot be more proud of what we've done here at Sim Racing Media with this league. And of course, I want to invite everybody along for more championship racing tomorrow night in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Yours truly going to be back in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth for that, and as well as Tuesday night's Jack Dow Simulators and Esports iRacing.com Truck Series, also going to be green flag racing at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time with yours truly at the microphone again. So make sure that you decide to turn this into a championship Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with 15 to go now in the Cup Series 2023 season.
You're absolutely right. Championship weekend is not over. We've got championship races for the Sunday Night NASCAR crew coming up tomorrow and on Tuesday. And I tell you what, that league sponsor is A Lot Cleaner something. You said it's what?
A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance.
So it's the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance, but it's not going to be a lot cleaner than tonight was. This has been a smooth race from everybody out on the racetrack. We've had a couple of cautions for cause, I believe 3 of them, just a couple of mistakes out of drivers, but this has been an incredibly clean race. Not a whole heck of a lot of contact between drivers, maybe outside of Sean Rogers and Nolan Hodgson racing each other for second place earlier on in the race before we got to the end of stage number 2. Those guys were leaning on each other, absolutely.
No, and we can see the sun setting here in Avondale, Arizona, as Jacob Schneider is just out here on a Sunday evening drive and getting ready to bring this checkered flag and this cup home for the season. And I'll tell you what, I mean, this man has done quite a job tonight. At this point, there's no reason to push it too hard. Bring it home nice and safe. I mean, you've got 3 1/4 seconds back to second place, 6 and almost 7 seconds back to third, which is also your only championship competitor, as we had the other 2 championship drivers unfortunately have to drop out in Alex Murray and Jeremy Miller. Fortunately, we got a chance to talk to them before this race went green flag, but, unfortunately, a rough night for them here in championship week. I always have to kind of smile every time we come through 1 and 2 when I see that Go Denny FedEx banner there on the wall or outside the wall. Ten laps to go here. Did I lose you, Liam?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, there you are.
Trying to find the Denny Hamlin reference. I missed it.
Yeah, trust me, it's there. Hold on. We're going to see it again in... Oh, maybe not this time around. I'll go up here to the blimp view. You'll surely get a view of it now. As Jacob Schneider logging laps with now 10 to go in the 2023 Cup Series season. You're going to see it right here on the left-hand side of your screen. Oh, wait. Now I lost it. Where the heck is it? There it is.
Oh, there. Yeah. FedEx. Go, Denny. Yep. There we go.
That's cute. They almost thought that he was going to win a championship.
They thought he might have had a shot 4 years ago. Here we are in 2023. He didn't have a shot.
Maybe it's time for iRacing to update some of
Jacob
that.
Schneider.
Maybe
Jacob
it's...
Schneider has 3 seconds of a race lead over Nolan Hodgson. 8 seconds of a race lead, or championship lead, rather, over Sean Rogers.
Maybe it's time for iRacing to update some of these banners. Just a thought. I do like the Instacart banner. That's cute. And you know what? I think Phoenix does kind of a cool job, like embracing their local area. I love the cactus. There's something about it that I just like.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the cactus too. Phoenix has a lot of quirky things about it, you know. Obviously, it's a different shape than most other racetracks. You've got a mountain up in turns 1 and 2 that you can sit up on top and watch the race from. The cactus at the start-finish line gotta be one of the quirkiest things about this racetrack.
Yeah, you know what? And it's a very humble racetrack as well. I mean, you know, they host the championship week every year the last few years, and they still manage to maintain who they are. They don't turn this into a complete circus. You know, even listening to some of the pre-race activities on MRN today was just, yep, it's another week here at Phoenix. And maybe because it's championship week, I feel like there should be something more exciting. I know that there have been calls to move championship week back to Miami. What do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like at the minimum, I feel like the final race has to move around. I think Miami was a good track for it with the cars that we had to run it, because you could run almost anywhere on the racetrack, and it was a track that nobody had seen before throughout the course of the entire year. I think it's a struggle to put a championship race at somewhere that these guys have run at before, and I also think it's tough to have it at a track like this where you're so unsure about how the car is going to handle it. It's, I don't know. My opinion is that it at least has to move around.
The tough part is finding a track that we go to once a year that's in, a little rub of the wall there for Schneider. But the tough part is finding, you know, a track that we go to once a year that's in warm weather. You know, Phoenix and Miami, of course, always warm. You know, not a whole lot of...
If they didn't mess up Atlanta, I would have suggested that, but I would not put the Cup race there.
Not anymore.
Nope.
As Jacob Schneider comes down through 3 and 4 one more time, the popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 to go.
2 laps to go for Jacob Schneider, and what an incredible season he has been able to put together. He's sitting out here with 5 wins on the race season. He's got 8 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and obviously for the Field Filler Racing organization was able to put himself up into this Final Four. Now he's got just 1 mile left. The white flag comes out. No cautions are going to come out. Jacob Schneider just got a couple more corners to bring it home in that 0-2 machine for Field Filler Racing. Comes up off of turn number 2. A little bit of a lap car up in front of him. But I tell you what, the season-long battle, the season-long fight is over, and it goes to Jacob Schneider. He's going to win the race and the championship off of turn number 4. Checkered flags in the air. Jacob Schneider gets the job done here and is our 2023 Sunday Night NASCAR Stacy Strong Cup Series champion. Tell you what, only one burnout to be done here, but that 0-2, he's going to be burning it down like there's 10 cars out there.
You bet your boots he will. Congratulations to Jacob Schneider from Greenville, South Carolina, as he brings home the 2023 SNN Cup Series trophy, as well as the checkered flag from right here at Phoenix Raceway. He comes through the 3-4 complex, maybe picks up a little bit of pace here one more time, as he is going to burn it down on the front stretch right here at Phoenix. Jacob Schneider bringing home his first championship here. We're going to see if we can get a hold of him, as he is going to celebrate this incredible win.
Gonna move him real quick, let him burn it down, but we've got him ready once he parks it here.
In fact, let's do it this way. Let's get a hold of Sean Rogers first, and we'll go 3, 2, 1 here. Hey, Sean, it's Dave and Liam up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, a rough night for you, as you weren't able to bring home the checkered flag or the cup. But, listen, a great season for you. How are you feeling at the end of tonight's race?
Well, first, congrats to Jacob. Definitely earned that one. He was obviously way quicker than the field tonight. But, all in all, I'm pretty happy. Obviously you want to win, but bringing home second overall, and then with this race, coming in third, I can't really complain too much about that.
No, not at all. And I mean, you had Amanda Price up here in the stands and in the YouTube.com live chat cheering you on. You've always had a pretty strong following here on our YouTube live chat. I mean, are you looking forward to the 2024 season, or what are you thinking about here going into the off season?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to, having my Sunday nights back. It's a long season with these long races every Sunday night, so I'm sure Amanda's probably pretty happy that I'm going to have a little more free time on Sundays. But definitely looking forward to the to next season, and I can't wait to get started after a little 2 or 3 month break here.
Believe me, I'm sure that all of our significant others are glad that the Sunday night season is over for the next couple of months, as we get a chance to breathe on a Sunday night. And,
Right.
You're right. It is a long season. They're long races. But, it all pays off in the end, as, I know that we've got some prizes for those of you that finished where you did in the season. So congratulations to you. And before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for not only this night, but, of course, this season here, the 2023 Stacey Strong Cup Series?
I'd like to thank the guys at BMP, especially special shout out to Schmitz and Kenny Coppola. They put together some great cars for me all year round. Definitely want to say thanks to Amanda. She's supported me a ton throughout the season, and always cheered me on from the other room, watching each and every race. Shout out to Chris Claude for kind of, dealing with all of us, throughout the season with all the issues. I'm sure that's not exactly the easiest thing to do. And shout out to you guys at SRM, putting together a great product every Sunday. Love going back, watching the races the following day. So definitely thanks to you and everybody who watched on YouTube. Thanks to them for kind of being interested in this and sticking around these, pretty long races.
All right, man. Well, listen, once again, congratulations on a pretty successful championship run, and we will see you next season as we get ready to go for the Clash at the Coliseum.
Yep, look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
And, Liam, I believe that you have Nolan Hodgson with you now.
And Nolan, Dave, and Liam up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, I tell you what, you were one of the fastest cars on the racetrack all day. Schneider got out in front of you. Couldn't quite catch him, but you were able to keep that 44 behind you. Walk us through your day, and especially that last stage there, racing these championship competitors.
Well, I mean, pretty much through the first 2 stages, it was fun battling with Alex and Sean and, all those guys. Just doing what I could do to play spoiler, but but yeah, I mean, pretty much it was a big tire saving racetrack. I kind of struggled all day with getting a good launch off of 2, which that it is what it is. It was it was fun. The Phoenix is a good track to be running laps at, and be racing the competition at. So um, just tried to enjoy it. This last race of the season, just do what I can to do what I can.
Yeah, well, you did what you could, and you almost did play spoiler there. You were the fastest non-championship driver out on the racetrack all day. Walk us through when you were leading some laps earlier, and how did that car feel out there today?
Well, I was really trying to push it. Try to cover all the lines that Snyder was taking. Um, and I mean, I think it worked for a few laps, but like I said, I could never really get that good launch off of 2, and that's what I really needed in order to stay in front of him. So I mean, like y'all saw, he was able to get that run going into 1 or into 3, and he was able to pass me through there. But yeah, I mean, it felt good to have the clean air. Clean air is very, very, very important here. So that felt good to happen. But yeah, just fun hanging it out, and battling with the guys.
Yeah, well, awesome stuff. You put together a phenomenal final race for the 2023 campaign. Double-ended question here. What can we expect out of you in 2024? And is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I guess 2024 will come as it may. This pretty big commitment, so I got to see what all happens for next year. I'd like to give a shout out to my spotter tonight, Damaris Hickenbottom. He was a really good help in trying to give me some good strategy to do. Shout out to the EPI guys who were supply the setups and all the learning how to tackle this track, and my parents for letting me do this. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, awesome stuff, man. We appreciate you joining us here. We'll let you get back to it. And congratulations on a second place finish to round out the season here.
Thank you.
Well, and last but most definitely not least, on our broadcast this evening, Jacob Schneider. It's Dave and Liam up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
I got a copy.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations on the 2023 Stacy Strong Cup Series championship win. What a privilege it is to sit here in the broadcast booth and get a chance to watch you duke it out for the honor of bringing home the championship this year. How are you feeling tonight?
No, it hasn't really sank in yet. When I joined this series about halfway through, I wasn't even thinking about playoffs, honestly. I was just trying to have fun, and now I have a championship. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to look at it. To come in and think, I'm not gonna do this or I'm not gonna do that, but you wound up lighting this league on fire this year and coming out of nowhere in the No Kid Hungry 0-2. I mean, take us through this race tonight. Let us know, let the people at home know what it takes to get into victory lane here at Phoenix.
I mean, the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday, I did 600 laps of practice combined, and then I raced all week. I did 3 full-length NIS races this week. This was my 4th full-length race of the week, so it was just a lot of grind to be a little bit better than everyone else.
So what you're saying is, like the old adage says, it's practice, practice, practice.
Exactly.
Well, listen, man, you put in some incredible work this season. I mean, bringing home several checkered flags, top 5s and top 10s. I mean, next year we go into the 2024 season. We're looking forward to February at the Coliseum, as has become the new tradition here in NASCAR. What are you looking forward to as far as moving on to next season, looking ahead?
I'm not sure what our plans are as a team. I think we had 2 of us in the Final Four, and I mean, all 8 of us made the playoffs, so we hadn't really talked much past this championship. So I guess that discussion will start this week.
It absolutely should. I mean, listen, you guys make it fun to watch every week. I mean, I've not only as a driver, been alongside of you guys, but of course up here in the broadcast booth watching you guys. And believe me, it's a lot less stressful to be up here in the booth. That's for sure. You guys as a team put together an incredible run this season. To have 8 of you make it into the playoffs is almost unheard of. Do you credit the setup or the drivers?
Oh, it's definitely both. Probably more setup. Some weeks, we got some struggles sometimes, but overall, it's just a good combination with some good drivers and the Ryko setups.
Yeah, Ryko is usually unstoppable. When I see that decal on the side of someone's car, I'm thinking, all right, there's a top 5er right there. But, you guys managed to live up to that Ryko name and, of course, bring some really good attention to the No Kid Hungry program that you've run the last several weeks. And before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run tonight, your championship, and, of course, the season overall?
Yeah, so Ken and everybody at Ryko, again, just there's so much work that happens behind the scenes on this stuff that most people don't know about. And that's what I credit to these wins I got this year. The guys at Prodigy, just for even inviting me to run this series. I had a lot of fun. And No Kid Hungry, Nami. Shout out to my sister. She's always in your guys' broadcast cheering me on. And got to thank my wife for letting me race every Sunday night.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations once again. We want to thank you for making it an exciting championship week here at Phoenix. And, of course, we hope to see you next year at the Coliseum there in Los Angeles once they get that asphalt laid down over top of the football field. Hopefully by then the engines will be warmed up. Everybody will be nice, rested, and relaxed and ready for another season of Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action.
All right, y'all have a good holiday season. We'll see you next year.
Absolutely. Well, Liam, this is not just another one in the books. This is the one in the books as we move into the off season now. We start to look forward to next year, of course. And I hope that maybe next year you and I get to work a few more times together here in the S&M broadcast booth. Of course, the last 2 weeks have been an absolute joy to be hanging out with you. And, I cannot say enough about the race that we just witnessed tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these last couple of weeks, being able to work with you, Dave, obviously last second, I haven't been able to quite get my bearings where they need to be up until about the halfway point or something like that. But the more we work together, the better we'll get. And I tell you what, we can't have a better series than the one that we just watched. Talk about next year. I'm excited for next year. If I'm not up here in the booth with you, I want to be out on the racetrack with these guys. It's an incredible group of people racing together and committing to running all of these 36 points races, 41 weeks throughout the course of the year. It's an incredible group, Dave. And, we got to see these guys put on an incredible show.
Absolutely. And as we quick run back through our final results, we want to make sure that everybody knows that we will still be here tomorrow night and Tuesday. But tonight, it's all about Jacob Schneider bringing home the checkered flag and the 2023 Sunday Night NASCAR Stacy Strong Cup Series trophy, led by Jacob Schneider, who's followed on the podium by Nolan Hodgson and fellow Championship 4 driver Sean Rogers finishing in third. Tanner Marty finishes in fourth, followed by Ron Fitting to round out the top 5. Chris Claude finishes in sixth, with Rafael Rodriguez in 7th. Ken Ron and Randall Watkins finish 8th and 9th, respectively, while Mark Johnston rounds out your top 10. From McAdoo, Pennsylvania, John Wilco finishes in 11th position, with Alex Murray, another of your Championship 4 drivers, having a bad break tonight, finishing in 12th. Steve Herring finishing in 13th, with Brandon Edstrom and Brian Tarnowski finishing in 14th and 15th, respectively. Ryan Samuelson brings it home in 16th position, while Cody Colley finishes in 17th. And unfortunately, bad luck for Jeremy Miller tonight, your 4th Championship 4 driver, losing it there on lap number 1, finishes in 18th position here on the evening. So for myself and everybody here at Sim Racing Media, I want to thank you for making us not only a part of your evening tonight, but a part of your lives for the last 41 race weeks here on iRacing.com. It has been an absolute privilege and a joy to be in your homes every night of the week, or every Sunday night every week since literally 9 months before today. So thank you again, everybody. And as I always say, tomorrow as you go through your day, make sure that you remember you're special. You're the only one like you, and that's good enough for me. Good night, everybody.